We are live. Hi, this is William. It's William Ramsey. Welcome to William Ramsey Investigates. On today's show, I have returning guest Sean McCann of the Wake the Dead podcast. This will be our fourth show. Our original show was Roman Polanski's Ninth Gate. Then we did two-hour shows on Eyes Wide Shut. It really took 4 hours to go through all that, and there's a lot more too. But we're going to try to do Rosemary's Baby. And there's a lot in this. I watched a little bit of it last night and noticed some things that I didn't notice before. And I have also studied, I put part of Rosemary's Baby in my documentary Occult Hollywood just because of some of the Easter eggs or little things there when the guy reaches over and pulls out Sammy Davis's book.
Right.
And also has the sexologist, what is his name? Kinsey's book next to it. Who's also Crowley affiliated and Rockefeller affiliated.
Psycho.
Total maniac. And you can read about him. I think I covered him in Children of the Beast. The real story of that guy, you would never want him around anybody, let alone kids. Like, he's a total monster. And so I'm delighted to have Sean back. So Sean, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for inviting me again.
Awesome.
It's a pleasure to be back, William. Thank you so much.
I had great reviews for all the research you did on Eyes Wide Shut.
People wonderful.
Were amazed. So I think, if the past is precedent, this will be very interesting. There's a lot in Rosemary's Baby. You can talk about it, but stuff I noticed in the second view, I mean, I've watched it many times, but one of the things I realized, which we can talk about, but Guy is in on it from the beginning.
Yes.
So, anyway, I've
The original character that they wanted to cast was blonde-haired guy with blue eyes, and they changed it to a dark-haired guy. Looks kind of Jewish with a big nose. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but they changed it to the dark hair, dark skin. He seems like he's very, he's an actor. He's lying to her constantly, and explaining off, I raped you last night because I didn't want to miss baby night, and like, what kind of person does that,
It was like I'm
not accusing, like, right. I'm just saying, like, they had to, they didn't want him to be like the wholesome. They wanted it to have like a little bit of a darker bent, like he's prone to that, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Cassie, there's a lot of backstory in this whole thing because obviously it's Roman Polanski, and then it's Sharon Tate, and she was in Eye of the Devil, right? So that was which totally saying, like, do you believe in magic? Yes. She's got all kinds of the necklaces like they have in this movie, and then she dies by a bunch of psychotic, MK Ultra influenced cultists who like the Process Church. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yes,
like the real backstory.
Right.
And we were talking in the pre-show too that the intro scene takes place at the Dakota, right? So this is 10 years before John Lennon gets shot. I don't know how long John Lennon lived at the Dakota, right off of the Central Park in Manhattan.
I think it was 73.
So right after this movie was made, but then you can see the entryway arch, and that's exactly where John Lennon got shot.
Right.
By supposedly Mark David Chapman.
Right.
Reading Catcher in the Rye. I mean, just the kind of synchronicities or connections are off the charts.
Right. So Catcher in the Rye is a book related to, MK Ultra programming, and also the John Hinckley, I think, the one who tried to kill Reagan, had that book on him too. So there's that, which, I mean, it's kind of it's like a little bit of a rabbit hole. But the fact that the book that is in this movie, titled All of Them Witches, that was given to Rosemary by Hutch, her good friend, that book describes how Adrian Marcato, the Satanist that conjured the living devil, that person was attacked and killed in the in the lobby, supposedly, but she learns in the book that it happened right outside, exactly where John Lennon was killed. And was John Lennon conjuring the living devil with his musical work? I mean, I like his music. It sounds all right.
I don't know. That may be a little extreme, but he was definitely, they were occulted. They had all, I mean, you don't know how deep it got, but they had Crowley references, and they said, we're bigger than Jesus. Our
Right.
music is magic.
Yeah.
So they used the magic with the K. So I think the Paul said
Right.
that.
There was a record cover that had them with baby, like they're in white coats, like they're slaughterhouse, or they work in a butcher shop, and they got like baby parts all over them, like dolls, but
that was a
and
very
that was
scandalous.
discontinued. It was kind of put under the radar. Yeah.
And there's a baby theme in this. Like they say that they found a baby at I forgot what they renamed the
right at
apartment.
the Bramford. They call it Black Bramford.
We lost the Black Bramford. Dead infant found in 59. That's right.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Wrapped in newspaper.
Yeah.
And so the fact that the lobby and this dude was conjuring the devil, maybe in a sense what I meant was he's like that music of the Rolling Stones and the Beatles, and ever since 66, year one, it's been, it's bringing the satanic into society. It's not like actually in gender, it's not like creating a living being that's the devil, but it is putting the satanic.
It's like the birth of the child, like Crowley would say, the birth of the child or something like that.
The new aeon of Satanism in culture,
Right. Right. And it was written by Ira Levin, who's written all these other books too. Stepford Wives, Boys from Brazil, Kiss Before Dying. So Boys from Brazil was the one where they cloned Hitler. But so Ira Levin said some.
Yeah, the Stepford Wives is it's another slavery thing where the woman is a slave to their husband, but then it's a robot even further. Like with this movie, they have to hold her down and give her injections, because she has a will of her own and she doesn't want to help the cult.
Well, that's an excellent theme, right? That's a very important theme, is that she's actually being enslaved and not knowing it, and then at the end she flips, right?
Yes.
So he's playing her the whole time. Guy's playing her the whole time.
Yes.
And once you watch this movie that her husband's playing her, it takes on a completely different tone, because you can watch it in the interpretation is that they're kind of hapless people, but there's backstory that indicates that Guy knows what's going on from the beginning.
Right. Yeah. We on first watching you. When you first watch it, you identify with the characters, and they're just a young couple, just like us, with you and your date at the movie theater, and you wouldn't think that anyone would do such a thing,
Right.
And then you hear about how Guy is happy that he has gotten this part, even though his opponent or whatever. The other
Baumgart went blind. Yeah,
Baumgart. Yes, he was stricken with blindness, and he was happy. He was happy to do so. And then at the party, they were talking about, is he still blind? And he was just like, I got to get out of here. He doesn't recognize the immorality, or if he does, he avoids it, and he's completely amoral. And that's why it's so easy for them to capture his, like, hey, let us use your wife to make the devil's baby and we'll make you a famous actor. And he's like, oh yeah, okay.
I'm moving into the Dakota. I'm moving into the what is it called? What'd you call it? The
Black Bramford. Yeah, exactly.
So if you remember, people who don't remember the show, we're going to show some pictures too. Sean has sent me some pictures, but this is kind of just a synopsis of the entire film. But at the intro, they're taking over a apartment from somebody who's passed away. Right. And in there are hints that are gone through the whole book. She was making herbs. So she had an herb garden inside there, which is a theme of the whole thing, that they're giving her herbs and tannis root and all that stuff.
Yes.
So that indicates that this person whose apartment they're moving into, was somehow affiliated. Sean's position is that she was affiliated, wanted to get out, and was killed, just like Hatch was killed, right? Eventually.
Right. Yes, I think like when they're showing the apartment, all the old furniture is still there, and she walks over to a secretary's desk and she sees a note written in handwriting that says, "I can no longer associate." And then you see that the bureau or the dresser was pushed in front of that door, the closet door. That's because she's blocking herself off. She's trying to not associate with the Castevets, and then she's stricken in a coma. And then we read later in the book when Rosemary buys a book about witchcraft, she reads that the coven can focus their mental powers to strike people with blindness, coma, or even death, which happened to Hutch. And so all
So
those
you've
three
got
things
right.
happen.
So you've got blindness to Baumgard, coma to the woman whose place they took. I can't remember. And it is interesting because I think the apartment is 7B, right? Which is 72, which is fully a cult like number.
Yeah.
Like that is the 72 demons of the Goetia, the house.
Right. And they're on the 7th floor. And, they like it was an original 10 that was broken. And 10 is like, 10 is a combination of 1 and 0. And
it's kind of like the DCAT is a perfect number, right? Because it's like whereas 11 is imperfect. But yeah, I mean, and there's weird things too. Like even the secretary that was pushed up against, I don't know how clever the costume or the production designers were, but there was like almost a double-headed motif that reminded me of the chair in Eyes Wide Shut, because you saw this little curl. And also on the floor, there was like a pedo symbol. It had that weird curl or whatever. If you see, I think I have.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know.
I missed those. Like that's
I don't
great.
know how intentional this is, but like right here, so you see that. I don't know if this is really a pedo symbol, but I thought that this was one. Let's see. So you can see right here. This is Guy. This is right at the beginning.
Oh,
so see the bottom there? That's kind of that swirly thing. And then on the upper right, you can faintly see the 7B.
That is outside of Epstein's little shrine, his little church there, his shrine thing that he's got on his island. He's got that same, I think it's Greek or something.
But I always thought it was that inner curl or something. We have the triangle with that or that symbol. Could be wrong. I just
that's interesting.
But yeah. So
yeah, and that dude, he is skeptical, and he's boring an eye hole, and it looks like he's boring it right into his head from this angle. It's like
Oh, interesting. So it's got that perspective, right?
Yeah.
So here's these are Sean's screenshots. So this is the entrance to the Bramford, aka the Dakota. But that's where this area was, where Lennon was shot.
Right.
And we were talking in the pre-show. Mark David Chapman supposedly walked up to Lennon, shot him, and then sat down and waited. Like he didn't run away. If you know that, they didn't have to switch for him.
That's very slaves. All of them do that. He
sat down and read his book. He was sat down and read his book.
Yeah.
And some other researchers have claimed that the doorman was the actual guy who shot Lennon. And the doorman, I think somebody proved, was an anti-Castro Cuban. And so those anti-Castro Cubans were all over the place in the 60s and 70s. Watergate, supposedly at the JFK assassination. Right. They killed some guy, Letelier in Washington, D.C., the ghost of Sheridan Circle. You can look that up on my podcast. It tells that whole story. But it was interesting because the guy who wrote that book, The Ghost of Sheridan Circle, said the anti-Castro Cubans were just on fire during those decades. They were bombing people. There were all kinds of crimes.
Yeah. So sounds like there's a lot of forces around that are doing that kind of work for the
the man or whatever,
the society, the CIA and the MI6, and there's that just makes more sense because it's always been like that. Now they're in Eastern Europe, and before they were in they're in the Middle East and
Right.
they're always stirring trouble. They want to have that one world government. We don't need to get into that though. So yeah, I kept this picture because I figured it has an occult symbolism to it. I guess I anyway, we don't need to get into that. We're gonna, because there's a lot of pictures.
Looks like might be something sexually charged.
Yes, there's that. Yes, and I mean, it's obviously they look like yonis, and it's it's like fertility and the green, and it's exploding up from the green. I just wanted people to see that. We can keep moving.
There are fountains that are totally perverse in Europe. Somebody was clearly had an inside thing going on where they had themes that were really dark. Yeah.
So this is, if you know about elevators, elevators are a satanic symbol, and she's trapped inside a rhombus. A rhombus is a male symbol, and like she's trapped in this box now, and it says the smallest apartment was a 9, and a 9 is another satanic number. So it's like this is her first entrance into the place, and they enclose her in this box. Now she's trapped.
Right. And the doorman, the African American guy, appears in her dream. Right. So
yep. He says you better go down below.
Right. And that's when you look at this, that from the very beginning, she's being walked into this whole process by Guy. So that's like another one, like she's being captured into this.
Maybe he heard about these people. Maybe he already knew about this in the beginning. He's, who knows? Like, it seems like, to me, it seems like he's unwitting until that dinner date that they have. And then
my perception is that he knew from the beginning, because he's putting her together. Like, I've been so mean to you. Then he suddenly says, I'll have your baby. Let's have a baby. To me, I think that it's obviously not explicit, clearly stated. It's just a sensibility that
I think that once the Castavets start talking about the famous actors and stuff that he knows, and like he thinks, he can climb the ladder of become more famous. Success, exactly. Yeah. So this is the gentleman is under a rose. So it's Sub Rosa.
Oh, wow.
And he's explaining about the place. So it can keep moving.
That's amazing. There's a lot in here. That's the whole thing, is like some of these films are super detailed.
This is like she says, they do a little gardening on the side. It happens at 4 minutes and 22 seconds. I thought originally it was 4:20 because that is like a cannabis connected number or whatever. But who knows if 4:20 was even popular back in '68 when this movie was produced.
I don't think so, but I think for sure this is the foreshadowing of the whole herbal theme through the whole film. And that
so like witches use a witch's brew. They have they use stuff from the wild, right? This here is the note where she reads that the previous tenant can no longer associate themselves, and like, what's that about? But that's when the old furniture is still in the apartment. She can see how the woman that went into a coma was living.
Right, and you can interpret this a couple of ways. You can interpret also psychologically, like she can no longer associate because she's dissociated. Right,
wow.
She's dissociated. Yeah.
Thank you for that. That's great.
You could interpret it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Let's see. There's the marijuana. Let's see.
Oh yeah. He says, marijuana, and it's almost like a calling card to the people listening, because it's like they're introducing cannabis to the culture of, they're changing the mores of society. Like Kinsey is changing the sexual nature of, it's disgusting what he does, and we should have more shows.
No, he did it with scientism. They never showed his scientific proof. He was clearly it was a full agenda. He was a zoologist. He wasn't really, he didn't come up the steps of sexual
No.
studies or anything. He's all, I'll just become a sex specialist.
Right. And, and if, he studies animals, right? And then he thinks of humans as animals, right? That's how he applies it. Anyway, we don't, but anyway, so like this movie was part of the changing of the
one era
minds
to the next, right?
Yes. So like all of a sudden there's Planned Parenthood, and they got the pill, and they women can choose to not have a baby, and they like being a mother enslaves you to this husband who maybe you can't trust him, and when she's pregnant, the baby is like making her feel pain and sickness, and like it very much like turns off any woman who is thinking about maybe I might get pregnant, and they go to the movie theater. What's this Rosemary's Baby about? Oh, I don't know. And the poster is real vague. Nobody really thinks like, oh, maybe some women who have just become pregnant are watching this movie and they decide to terminate that. Maybe this movie is responsible for abortion being, readily adapted more easily, because in the 50s it was, having a family was important, and in the 60s all of a sudden not so much. And I think that has to do with the satanification of culture and the eugenics that they're, all of a sudden they had the baby boom, and they're like, whoa, we got to put the brakes on the baby boom, and
it becomes anti-life. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Overpopulation, all that stuff. So this is the thing where I thought it had kind of like the double eagle motif. I don't know, maybe it's a stretch, but that's definitely a downward pentagram on there.
Yeah, those the two on both sides. We connected to what we talked about before. The rosette, with a dot in the center, is a symbol of Inanna. So Inanna, the priestess, the goddess of fertility, relates to this whole thing, like Pan and the goddess worship, and it's all kind of one big pot of Wicca, witches.
Interesting. So they got the witch themes are throughout the whole thing,
and they are like pointed down in a sense. The duality is up, and the Trinity is down.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, crazy. She was 89.
Yeah. She was 89 and she couldn't move it. Right. Like, right, how did that move?
How did probably over there?
Magic,
Right.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah. So Planned Parenthood's influence was a big deal, and that was also pushed by Rockefeller, just like Kinsey, and the Rockefellers
gave Kinsey tons of money, like crazy amounts, like millions of dollars, not to do all kinds of just lunacy. Like,
and think about what Planned Parenthood still gets, like, and all those NGOs like United Way promises to give 20% of all of their proceeds, and Bill Gates's mom is like the head of, or the leader of the board of the United Way, and that's where she met the IBM guy. He's also part of that United Way, and she got Bill Gates a job with the IBM guy who she's friends with at this Planned Parenthood giving.
I'm sure it's all that's their cover story, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so she covered up this closet. Seemed innocuous. Oh, whatever. That seems weird. Why would she block up her towels and her vacuum? But moving on, she, these little things that we see are these little puzzle pieces that seem out of place, and they make sense later on.
They do, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of spoilers. I mean, I'm basically showing the whole movie here in the stills, So
it has an unpleasant reputation.
Yeah, right. And this is lamb. There, so like it's like a
the lamb to the slaughter.
Yes. Thank you. Perfect.
It's a full leg too. It's not something that's just very obvious what
Yes.
they're
Yeah.
tinkering around with here.
And the next thing they talk about is dietary experiments. Talking about the Trench sisters, who
Right.
I don't know if you can move that because I can't see. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you. So like he's explaining to them all of the evils that have been through that house, the Bramford. And he talks about the Trench sisters were doing dietary experiments as he's bringing the lamb to the table,
Right.
and
Cooked and ate several young children, right?
yeah,
Then there's a dead infant, so yeah.
right. And later, when we get to the book, the All of Them Witches book, she's reading on one of the pages is a picture of a woman, and it's got her name, and it says she doesn't just eat babies, it's a little more complex, and it goes on. So like that's a common theme, and she says, and Rosemary explains that the book also says that baby's blood is the most powerful blood. So yeah. Okay.
Live there. Let's go there.
Where are we? Oh yeah, Adrian Mercado. So he's explaining the names. I saved that because I got the name that he's saying because the screenshot, and that way it captures the dialogue. So we can skip through, I guess.
Yeah. She asked, who is Adrian Mercado? Right. Who are all these people? And they talk about cooked children.
Yeah. Witchcraft. Wanted to conjure the living devil. Yeah, and her eyes are wide. She's like listening intently, and and why didn't she take this? It's a warning. Hello, don't move into this house.
But Guy is like just blasé, right?
He's
Guy's
determined.
Like, oh, yeah,
that's right. And like, oh, evil doesn't mean anything. There's no witches, and then he joins the group. Yeah. So they tried to kill Adrian Mercado in the lobby of the Bramford because he conjured the living devil, or at least he told people that. And who was the living devil? His son, Stephen? I don't know. Probably not. He seems like a normal human, but certainly Rosemary conjures, or
the devil gets
creates the living devil. Yeah, it does
happen.
Yeah. Right. So Hutch is a wealth of information. Later in the movie, she's having a dream where Hutch is on the dock, not allowed on this boat, and he has binoculars, and he has scrolls rolled up in his left hand, which means that he has occult knowledge, and his binoculars around his neck show that he has better sight than others, omniscient, and they're leaving him, but separating her from him. So he basically, he's the only one that really cares and wants to save her, and they kill him. So they can hear through the wall, that last picture that you just had up.
Right. You can hear through the wall, and then she's down with this woman in a cage.
Right. Yeah, the woman's pictured in a cage. Right. She's a slave.
Terry D'Onofrio, right?
Yes.
Oh, I'm staying with the Castabits.
Right.
And there's a theme of the herbs. She says herbs.
Right. She says that she has a charm, and she shows the good luck charm, and they can smell. It smells bad, And she says, "I'd be dead by now if it weren't for them."
Right.
So she would have
taken two different ways, right?
Maybe God's original intent for her was to let her die, and the Castabets came in and said, "No, you're going to make a baby for us," So she she explains, "Oh, I originally thought they wanted me for some kind of sex thing, but yeah, they do. They actually did. They're using her to, and just like Eyes Wide Shut, they use hookers to create babies that they're going to use for their cult activities. You know, in this movie, it happens to be the devil, but in the other movie, it was just for slavery. You know, Rosemary gets a good look at that charm.
Right.
Yeah.
And it will come back later, right?
Yeah, for sure. So that's the good look at the charm, and we see, and then now we can recognize when we see it again, you know.
Because it shall return. She says it's a sex thing, bad smell, and then we're back to these guys in bed.
Ritualistic chanting.
Ritualistic chanting. Right?
Is that the one? Yeah. Okay. So they hear it chanting, and then they're looking at the wall, and oh no, wait, this is first, and he hears Minnie yelling through the wall, "We shouldn't. If you want my opinion, we shouldn't tell her at all." What is that all about? And then and then they hear this chanting, so they're doing a ritual that night while this is happening. So if we skip
did you
ahead,
ever get a read out of this flower motif? Did that ever mean anything?
There's a lot of roses. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about that. That looks almost like
because he buys her tons of roses right before the night of the conception or whatever.
Right. And during the night of conception, in the dream, she goes down below of the boat, below deck, and there is cross, here it's I mean, it's really red. It doesn't look very real, but you see the charm is in the blood, and it's obvious that charm is visibly in the blood. Right. And she can recognize the charm when she sees it, So this, the woman has a suicide note. Terry D'Onofrio left a suicide note, and the cops are happy because they don't want to do any work of investigation.
Right. Sounds familiar.
Right. Yeah. Real life.
Yeah.
And then we see the cast of vets at 1717. And 17 itself is an evil number. If you think about phi, the number phi 1.618. If you think about it numerically, it's 1618, and 17 in a number line divides pi or phi, phi. So 17, it divides the order of nature. The way that nature grows is in a phi spiral. That's how everything grows in a fractal spiral pattern. So 17 in its nature is satanic. So we meet them exactly at 17 minutes and 17 seconds. And we also see to the right, there's a Volkswagen Bug. And then if we skip ahead to the next,
there's two bugs right next to each other.
Another bug, exactly. Wow, yeah. So that is significant. They want us to see the bug, and she hit the bug. You see how it's dented on the top. Right. She landed on that car. So I think, and the Volkswagen Bug is related to those. There was a murderer that drove a Volkswagen. I forget.
Yeah, it was. It was Bundy. Bundy drove a yellow Bug. Right. That was what made him so innocuous. He didn't look like a serial killer. Oh, my arm's broken and I'm in a beetle.
Right. Yep. And then they're defenseless. They think that he. Yeah. Exactly.
He's like a hapless guy. No, he's a serial killer.
Yep. And that's the easiest trick, one of the easiest tricks in the book. So yeah, that they got their first look of Rosemary there, and so now she says some nice words, and they are meeting for the first time supposedly. Right. And I think that might be true. I think that they might be meeting for the first time.
Gotcha. So this is warning on the ashtray. I didn't notice that.
Right. Yeah, right after we meet them, the next scene, this says warning on right there next to it, and it goes from that shot and then it follows his arm. So it goes from the warning down to his hand, warning his hand, it's gonna, that, and it's his left hand. So we understand that, the left hand path.
Right. Interesting.
So we can tell that his will be along with is warning his will, and then so she can hear the voice of many through the wall, so that influences the dream that she's having. I don't like people experience this all the time. If you hear something and it turns up in your dream, so that's what's happening. And they're little schoolgirls, right? And Minnie is yelling about how she wouldn't be open-minded because she's schoolgirl Catholic, right? And but that's also Rosemary is also a Catholic schoolgirl. She grew up in this. This is like a memory in her dream mixed together.
Right. She's definitely like Catholic. She talks to the Father. Right. Am I forgiven? All this stuff.
Right. And Catholics, if you like, I don't want to offend anybody, but Catholics are basically like that practice of Catholicism is an extension of the fertility cults and Cybele, and like
there's a lot of overlaps with paganism. Like
right.
It's throwing in a Virgin Mary, like it's almost like an inside joke.
Yeah. And like they it's as if they like you can say you're celebrating Jesus. As long as you're celebrating and having that emotion, they can still reap it for their rituals that are also going on at that time, where December 25th is Nimrod's birthday. It's like it's not really. Anyway, there's a lot going on. We don't need to go down there.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Man, you can go to the St. Peter's Church, and right out in front is a solar phallic design. That's
right. Yeah, that's St. Patrick's needle. Right.
Yeah. Well,
it was stolen from Egypt. Right.
Stolen from Egypt by Caligula.
Right. Yeah.
So you want that on
what
your
a
church?
guy.
Yeah. What a guy. What a guy.
Right. So I mean, basically, the whole the whole thing that they were fighting the Jews with, and that war with the Jews since before Jesus was born, was the Jews didn't want to worship the Caesar. And Rome said, you must worship him like a god. And they're like, no. And then that's why all that. So if they could convince them to worship somebody and let them think whoever it is, whoever you think it is, that's fine. Just worship it, And I think that's why they just put the Christian garb, or, the Christian trappings on the pagan religion that they've always been worshiping. It's always been, Babylon, the old religion.
In the old empire, really, the Roman Church operated like the Roman. It's a Holy Roman Church.
Right.
It operated like the Roman Empire in a lot of ways.
Competitors
were squashed.
Same thing. It is this. It's just an extension. Yeah. And when you go down that rabbit hole, you'll see it. You'll see that it's only the same, and that it's they took over the temples of the old temples. They made them Christian all of a sudden. Yeah. So like it's easier for the pagans to assimilate into the Christianity, but also it makes it takes over all of those pagan religions, and now it's Catholic. Now it's all one, and we are the hierarchy that rules it.
Go look at the conquest of New Spain, or what Mexico today.
Right.
All of those churches are on either pyramids or some kind of pagan thing. Yes. So the Roman Church has moved right in and said, strip that. And Hernan Cortez knew what he was doing. Like that's how he got support from the Catholic Church, is because everything was going to be Catholic.
Exactly. So, and it's really just a people like a people control system. Religion is just the mind control that they use to capture them and their will to follow the orders of the hierarchy.
We take it for granted in the United States that you can kind of practice your own religion. It's not like that in other countries.
No,
in Mexico,
they'll kill you.
Yeah. And Protestants get a bad rap in Mexico. You are a Catholic and you do not leave. Like a lot of those countries, there is no tolerance for Protestantism, free thinking, Bible believing Christian. Like I'm not a Protestant either. I just don't agree with you. That doesn't work. That's not the way it
Yeah.
works in some of these other countries. Sorry.
And if you look at the way that the Pope now is so progressive compared to past popes, like they have flipped their entire, like they used to have these moral rules, and now it's like anything goes, as long as you're listening to the hierarchy, he can change his mind and it's cool. Like,
right. Well, it's interesting too to get off on that kind of Catholic Church tangent, because the Pope is in the Catholic stuff is in this movie.
yes.
He's watching you. If you remember, he's totally exultant. Guy is that the Pope is in New York, right? He's at Madison Square Garden or
right.
somewhere.
This picture here, it says no Pope ever visits a city where the newspapers are on strike, because he's explaining that the Pope's job is to be, a puppet that wears fancy clothes in front of the people. And he says, like, don't worship him just because he says he's holy, and that makes sense. But he goes all the way to the other end, and he's the other end of the spectrum is Satanism. I'd rather think for myself. Right. But anyway,
I was brought up a Catholic. Now I don't know.
Yes, that's just what he wants to hear, because a Catholic has been ritually, like, the pagan religions are ceremonial magic, and that's what Catholicism is. And so, like, so she has gone through the ceremonies that are required for their cult too, because it's all the same evil cult, really. The cult of control and obedience, power and domination, So, okay, these are the names of famous actors that he knows. And their names are Mrs. Fisk. She was a child star actress. Her whole life, she performed Shakespeare. Johnston Forbes Robertson was the finest Hamlet of the Victorian era. More Shakespeare. Helen Modjeska, she specialized in Shakespeare. Greatest actress in the history of theater in Poland, the leading female interpreter of Shakespeare on the American stage. And then later he mentions Sir Henry Irving, who was a knight, a Freemason, and one of the most famous stage actors who controlled the entire production. So
he said he played a little Hamlet too, so it plays into Guy's character. Right. He says that somewhere earlier.
Right. And like, if you look at Shakespeare, it's almost like an affront to the Christian Roman Catholicism. If you look at Titus Andronicus, he makes fun of the cannibalism that is Catholic ritual ceremonies of, like, eating flesh and drinking blood. Right.
You're literally drinking when you eat. The traditional Catholicism is you are drinking the blood and literally transmogrification.
Yes,
because you're eating the body of Christ.
Right. And so doesn't it only make sense that they would drink the blood of babies and they would eat the flesh of babies? If we would eat the flesh and drink the blood of Christ, who is our Savior, well, like, it doesn't make sense. So this is obviously a tool for controlling minds that also controls them in such a way that these people perform the same rituals as the old religion, and it keeps them in the net, even though they think they're free. And they think that, they're following this Jesus character who has morality, and we can have freedom in the afterlife. But it's just like, I don't want to demean people's religion. I'm just saying, in their view, the people that created this tool of control, Jesus is like the carrot that keeps people running, on this wheel. And yeah, exactly. Someone just made a comment about how Roman is the same name as Roman Polanski. And again, that goes back to Polanski using his wife, giving his wife to the cult. And the name of Rosemary's husband, his name is Castevet. The actor's name is John Castevet or Cassavetes or something.
Cassavetes, yeah.
Yeah, it's very similar to Castevet.
Right. Yeah.
And so and the Castevet's name is Roman, so it all kind of ties together. So Roman Polanski is admitting that he has given his wife to the cult, and she is raising a baby for them, basically. And their little dog that Polanski and his wife Sharon Tate had, they named it Saperstein. That's
Get it out.
Dude, I swear.
No, I didn't know that.
So
there's the box within a box, right?
Yep, yeah, the box within the box is Tesseract. So like she's laying down in the Tesseract, and she's got her Sammy Davis Jr. book, Yes I Can. She's gonna read about this Satanist guy. And it looks like the sculpture is a black Madonna, maybe. It's a feminine black sculpture. I don't know. The sculptures make an appearance again later. Art and books, like art too, has a lot that they can tie in.
A lot of the meaning in this film. Yeah.
So she's, relaxing, reading the book. I guess I might have taken too many screenshots. Sorry, we could skip through.
Then they come over.
Yep.
All these people. This is another
Laura Louise McBurney.
Apartment.
She's got to vote for somebody for mayor. So like it shows that the Satanists are like this woman who's trying to get you to vote. I'm an anarchist personally. I think voting it enslaves people. So like I think it's wrong for anyone to vote. And obviously this Satanist is trying to convince people to make themselves slaves. I think that's just funny. I just wanted to notice that. So anyway, she is very happy to come into her house, and then they give her this charm. It's close up of the charm. She recognizes the charm. It's the same charm that was on Terry, and it's the same charm that was in the blood of when Terry jumped out the window. And now it's given to her. How much good luck can it be if Terry jumped out a window? So, and they say, oh, it's very old, and you've already taken it, so you can't say no. This is Guy getting the part, and in his hand he has paint thinner, which is a solvent. And if you think about like Solvay and Coagula, this is the Solvay is happening in his life. It's dissolving.
It dissolved away and came back together, right?
Exactly.
Isn't that what Solvay Coagula means?
Yes, like in this, the dissolving is like it's dissolving his obstacles away from him, and his like all of a sudden he is being successful, So we'll skip on to the next one.
Let's go to the next one. Sean, I hate to do this, but I think I'm gonna have to break this off in about 10 minutes. So,
is it because of the lawnmower or whatever?
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I kind of did, but it's okay. I heard it.
Let's just break it off now. We'll just pick it up another part 2.
Okay.
They're making too much noise.
I hear you, man.
I'm sorry to do that to you, but we'll try to reschedule part 2 in a couple weeks.
That's fine with me.
What's remarkable is we're only at the 35-minute mark. The movie's like at 2.5 hours, right? 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's pretty long.
Yeah. I hope your fans are into this. I
think so. I think we've got, people are definitely. So I'm going to rip this off. Where can people listen to Wake the Dead and contact you? Why don't you put all that stuff in?
Okay. You can find Wake the Dead at pretty much any podcast source. It's listed Google, Apple. You can find everything that I post online can be found at onegreatworknetwork.com, and you'll /Sean-McCann, and that's where you will find me. I'm in the creators section of larger website called One Great Work Network.
I think I included that in the show notes of the last one, so I'll just transfer
Wonderful.
those to this
Yeah,
one.
I do sell T-shirts. I make anarchist designs and fine art pictures. You can find that at storefrontier.com/wakethedead. And you can email me at the onegreatworknetwork.com. You'll find a link for my email. You can click, and I'm happy to get correspondence from people. And thank you for those that have already reached out and spoken to me. And
Right. Are you working on that? Good. Are you working on that anarchist hat?
Yeah, I actually went and found a company that makes hats, but
Nice.
their website doesn't want to work in my browser, and it gets me frustrated. But I'll keep looking. I'll see what I can do.
Great.
Yeah.
Sean McCann, Wake the Dead podcast. Thanks so much. There will be a part 2. I promise you guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, we're live. Hi, this is William Ramsey. Welcome to William Ramsey Investigates. On today's show, I have a very special guest, a returning guest, Sean McCann. We spoke about 13 days ago about Rosemary's Baby, and we got into about the 35th minute of analysis. And there's so much in this movie. It goes as deep as like Eyes Wide Shut, but the gardener decided to ramp up the noise. So I just turned it into a impromptu part 2. So we're going to restart. I would recommend people who've not listened to part 1, go back and watch it on YouTube or listen to it before we get through this. But I have the time to finish the movie off. But in the interim, I've done some more research. I found some other things maybe Sean didn't see or seen. So we're going to take our time and get through everything. But like I said, where we left off at the last point was at the 35-minute mark. So Sean McCann, welcome back to the show.
Hi, thank you. It's an honor to be invited back. Thank you kindly.
Cool, man. Well,
I've gotten good response from your listeners, and I've gotten a couple emails, and I'm delighted to read what people will say and think. So excellent. It's been great for me. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I think this will be like our 4th or 5th show. Is that right? Yeah, we did 2 shows on Eyes Wide Shut, The Ninth Gate, and this will be the 5th show. So you can go back, people, and go back, audience, if you want to go back and listen to those, please do. And Sean's just doing a great job analyzing all the stuff. So let's get going. Let's go back to 35. You want to? All right. You sent me some new screenshots, right? So
yeah, I got some new screenshots with all the notes to make sure, because last time I was kind of running late. I was didn't do all my homework before. I always had that problem in school too. So, but I'm prepared today. Today we're good. So at 35 minutes and 49, I think.
Suddenly very hot.
Suddenly very hot. Yeah. Let's get that open. And she's meeting with Hutch, and she's describing to Hutch about how Guy got his part all of a sudden, and he's suddenly very he's very popular. He's very hot in the.
Right, he's very hot, right?
Yeah, because now he's working with the witches, and the witches are clearing the way for him. They made the other gentleman blind, so with their powers of their mastermind, where they put a spell on a person, all the witches in the coven work together and they put them under a spell. And we'll see later, she discovers that in some books. So Hutch here is a classic English intellectual. He's got a picture of
Churchill,
sadly, but anyway,
he's got a pipe. He looks like J.R.R. Tolkien or something.
Yeah, he's like
got an old style
smart guy.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, moving along, so he's all of a sudden very hot, and in the next slide we'll see 37:18.
37:18, right. Let me pull that up. Okay, stop. Share. Got it.
So this is Guy, and he's asking. Oh, he's telling. He brought a bunch of roses, and Rose is part of her name, Rosemary, and Rose relates to Venus, and it's a highly occult symbol. But in any case,
Rosicrucians, all that
yes,
stuff.
Rosicrucians. Yes, and we'll see later there are roses further in the movie that are put in. But anyway, so he fills the house with roses, and he says to her, "Let's have a baby." And she's like, "Oh, what?" And now that he's working with the Cassavetes or Castivetes, now let's have this baby. Okay, we want it now. It's time. Okay,
right. It's time. His career's taking off. Right.
Right. Yeah. And he's persistently asking, and then in the next one, they circle on the calendar. The time to start is October 4th and 5th. And
I got it. Yeah. There's the calendar in the background, right?
Yeah. And October 4th and 5th. Let's see. It's not really. It's not on the reg. Okay, I had looked up some satanic holidays. Those aren't listed, but further in the movie, she circles November 1st and she writes blood on it, and that's All Souls Day. That's the day after Samhain. Well, I guess we'll get to that slide anyway. So he circles on the calendar, and it's October 4th and 5th, 1965, when she is inseminated.
Okay. So that's actually, the whole sequence. That's the sequence that's coming.
It's not 4th and 5th. I think it's 9 and 10. Shit, I'm sorry. Just seeing.
No, it's 4th and 5th, right? It's October 4th and 5th is circled in the background.
3. Okay. 4 and 5. All right. Okay. So yeah, I'm just trying to be thorough. That's all. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
So she's like, "You really mean it, right?" And then in the next slide after that one. There is 3749 is a good one. We can skip to.
Oh yeah. Oh, see, I didn't even recognize the Lucifer's rainbow, right? Wow, yeah. That's really subtle. Wow.
So yeah, 3749. When he's putting her in the mood, he has a box of lucifers. That's Lucifer is a friction match. If you look it up in the dictionary, and if you look at the heads. Is rainbow colored. So that is like the rainbow was a pact between God and Noah. It's like a symbol from other forces, and also the rainbow colors of light, like it's like rainbow is like all colors that are combined to make white light. So it's like a division of white, like a splitting,
It's also the colors of the zodiac can be broken down into colors too. So you've got the colors of the zodiac, and also the rainbow bridge to Satan. You take this. There's a book by, I can't remember her name offhand, but you take this rainbow bridge to. So that's like and Scientology uses the bridge in, like you're crossing the bridge in Scientology to clear. It's symbolism, and go listen to. George H.W. Bush's famous speech of 1990. He said, "We're crossing a beer bridge." So he puts that in there.
Is that the same one with the 1,000 points of light, where he's talking about
and the date is September 11th, 1990. September. That's a very easy date to remember,
right? Because it was 11 years before. Exactly. Yeah.
11 years before 9/11, and I don't know when she's talking to Hutch. I think. Oh no. This is later on. She talks to Hutch later too when she's not feeling well, right? That's when she says the 11th.
Yeah, that's when Hutch is invited to their house.
Yeah. So you're going to see the 11th pop up, and it's actually interesting because I never noticed it in this film, but I included it in Polanski's The Ghost Writer when he's writing it. The key document that reveals the real character of who was the guide for the prime minister. I don't want to give the whole movie away, The Ghost Writer, but it's on the 11th page of this manuscript, right? Because the Ghost Writer, if you remember the Ghost Writer, the character of Ewan McGregor comes in after the earlier Ghost Writer died mysteriously.
Right.
Yes. So he has that manuscript. He doesn't know the person, but he realizes the manuscript is telling him something. And there's 11 there too at the very revelatory thing. So Polanski,
he's connected to these power centers. Like he
Yes,
understands
I
how
think-
the machinations of it work. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think that's. I think you can make that conclusion easily.
Yeah.
Wow, the Rainbow Bridge. That's amazing. So let's go back.
So the next one is 3926, and that's
This is her chocolate mousse or whatever.
yeah, she calls it chocolate mouse. So that's important. So Minnie, she said, it's even here in quotes, chocolate mouse. And because she pronounces it wrong. And when we first see her come to the house the day after she meets her in the street, Minnie is wearing a big bow in her hair, just like Minnie Mouse.
Minnie Mouse.
So a mouse is something which gets into places where it's not supposed to be. It's very, and in German, like a mouse is like a knife, or a Mauser. It has like a bullet is the mouse, because it invades you. So I think that her name being Minnie and having her dressed up as Minnie when we first meet her in this, and she's like inspecting the house and looking at everything, like very interested. So, and now that was like when she burrowed in. That's like the camel's nose under the tent, and now she's taking over their whole lives, and later in the dream, the fact that it's a mouse rather than moose is very it's connected. And the if anybody wants to look further into the theory of the Minnie's moose, you should check out Tracy Twyman did a 4 or 5 part documentary breaking down how Mickey Mouse is related to Krampus and like the stealer of children, and it's very interesting. And she relates this part of Rosemary's Baby, her being Minnie, to that whole thesis that she has. It's very interesting.
Wow, interesting.
But it is there. I mean, she does have the bow, and that's why I'm mentioning it here. So anyway, moving on. So,
but it is interesting. You bring up the control. So Minnie is taking control, and it's the theme that I talked about last time at the intro, was that Guy is clearly gaslighting and controlling her all the way along, in my opinion. That's the subtext.
Yes.
You don't see it overtly, but yeah.
Yes, at one point he even tells her that she was crazy.
Right, so he's fully gaslighting her
straight
the whole
up
time.
telling her she's
And that's
crazy.
yeah. So he's the one leading her in, which is something I didn't realize until I went through it this time.
So it was his idea to have the baby now. He has it circled on the calendar. Was it him who circled it? Did the Castavets come over and tell him do it on this date so that he's born in June of '66, making it 666?
Right.
And
I mean, it's really incredible. Yeah, and those guys love dates. By the way, if you don't believe that, it's another Lennon tie. So Lennon and Yoko Ono lived in the Dakota, which we talked about last time, but Yoko Ono timed the date of her child Sean. They delivered it on a very important date to her.
Yeah, that figures.
Yeah. They literally we're going to have him this date. So they had the baby delivered at that time or whatever.
And she is a witch, self-described. So,
It's incredible.
So I heard an interview with Ira Levin, and he was describing his sequel called the Son of Rosemary's Son or something, I think. Son of Rosemary. And it was the sequel to this. And he said that when he was writing it, he didn't even recognize that the baby was born June of '66. He didn't think about it. It just occurred that way.
Right.
Yeah, he wanted to write it in the time that he was writing the book. And,
there's something about the number 666. It's the inversion of what they call the perfect number, right? So I think there's some kind of perfect number that geometrically increases itself. And 666 is the opposite. Have you ever heard that?
I've heard that 777 was the perfection of man, and 888 is like godness because it's like an infinity symbol. and like the three aspects of consciousness, like knowledge, like emotion, and will, like your action. That's why it's three numbers, and I think it has Kabbalistic references too. There's a lot going on that I'm not as well versed. You know what I mean?
I'm not either.
Yeah.
But it just 666 it's the opposite of something which would be right in line with kind of satanic thinking, which is inversion.
Right. I think it's considered the number of man, as like in the Bible. I think they say it's 666 is the number of man, and that's like your beast consciousness. You know, your beast like will. You're like the will that's unhindered by your cultured manners and stuff. So like your beast consciousness, you know, what's underlying your you know, your natural urges and such. And 777 would be the perfection of man, where you have controlled those urges, you know, and defeated them, and now you are a magician working, you know, you can work in time and rhythm of the natural forces, and you understand how, you know, when to do your workings and your magic, whatnot.
This is interesting. Sorry to break your thing.
No, you're good.
The candle itself in this scene is ritualistic. Just having the candle of her eating and being drugged.
Right.
So,
right.
Like, not everybody has candlelit dinners every night.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what the
and she's wearing red. She's wearing red, the Scarlet Woman.
Yes.
She's got red hair.
Yes, and that's the night that she's going to be inseminated. So, she's dressed up with her red scarlet dress.
Or he dressed her up, or somebody dressed her up.
Maybe he did, because he's in control of her totally. Like, it's ruthless, and it inculcates a fear in the viewing women that they don't want to be controlled by some monster man that's going to do this to them and impregnate them. And I want to have a job. I don't want to have babies. You know, it's like it's a subtle programming.
Interesting.
Because, like, you know, the patriarchal society, the woman is just a breeder for the man to pass on his name. You know what I mean? That kind of bullcrap.
Right, so this is all taking place in the context of kind of ERA, equal rights, or whatever.
In the time of the 68 when it was released, or 67, 68, there was, you know, the pill was invented in 1960, and Margaret Sanger was pushing the ideas of abortion. Like, the eugenicists they had eugenist laws in the 30s, and sterilizing feeble-minded people, and that. So like this is like a compounded. This is like built on top of those earlier ideas to try. It's more the push of eugenics in a subtler form. You know, to the subconscious, because a movie is like a dream. You know, it's like 2.5 hours or 1 hour and 1 hour and 45 minutes, something like that. It's or 1 hour and a half is sometimes usually. I think the REM cycle is like 45 minutes. So we go through however many REM cycles in a night. And so like if a movie is built on that same time length, then your brain will absorb it like a dream and will remember it differently. So like these movies are like kind of a shared dream. Everybody has seen this movie. It's popular and they can all talk about it. And so like there's going to be they can sew in a lot of archetypal, like Jungian ideas, you know. It's very effective for culture creation. And like I was saying earlier, this time of like the feminism was happening, the liberating the woman, going to get a job and, burning their bras and stuff in the streets. And this was this is in the mind of the viewer already. So this movie is like pulling
the opposite of that, right? So this thing, she's going to become this
total
breeder for
slave.
Satan. Yes. So there's subtext there for the women watching it. Like, hey, man, this is what I'm not trying to become.
And if they want to
so there's
own
subtext of the man's trying to control them and enslave her.
Right. And women own their sexuality, but this pushes it so far that it's like it puts them in fear that they'll lose control of their own sexuality. I mean, they don't have to have the pill, or they don't have to abort their baby. They can think like with their cycle. They can understand their cycle and make right choices and all that. So like that's what morality has been teaching us forever. They're destroying morality with this satanic, zeitgeist of Satanism, that they had this whole flower power thing, and then they had the whole murderers in the streets, like everybody's victim, and then the drug war and the wasted youth and all of that, like
in Vietnam and just everything, all the assassinations. The 60s was super chaotic.
Yes.
Well, you think bad today is bad. 60s were off the charts, just assassins and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and all of that stuff formed the minds of that baby boomer generation that ended up growing up into the 80s and like doing, cocaine on Wall Street and, pushing the money cycle. Like they were totally opposite of what the hippie ideal was. They were like, whoa, that's scary. I don't want to be murdered by the Manson family. I'm going to go join the Babylon and like go work for the man. And you know what I mean? And then like the preferred drug of choice was an upper to make them go, go, go. And like, more money. And it's like, and coffee and like, it's just like that whole, and then they in their elder years, it's become this world. Like, look at it. I mean, like it's totally satanic. And I think it's because their minds have been affected by all this programming, all these years, over the
decades, right?
Exactly. Yep. I mean, they look to the TV for the truth. They watch movies. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well put. Terrifying. Yeah. So like
TV is just a hypno programming device, man. It's It's worse than you think.
Exactly. And the movie theater too. I mean, you're in a darkened room where all you see is what they give you, and it totally fills your vision. And all you hear is what they give you. It's like it's a magical place where they
by your own volition too. By your own volition,
exactly.
I want to go.
Right? Yeah, you are consenting to it, and you don't even know what they're going to show you yet. Like it could be a bunch of murder and stuff, and it's like going into your brain. Like anyway. So like the pregnant women, or women that are thinking about pregnancy, that are going to the movies and seeing Rosemary's Baby, this is going to affect their outcome, the conclusion that they come to when they, if not directly, then subconsciously, it will have an effect. And that, I think that's one of the reasons why the movie studio pushed this movie so much. And it was such a, and then they connect it to all the murders that they're pushing, and with Roman Polanski and John Lennon, and all of this is connected to this same zeitgeist of fear that's just descending on the people. And it seems like before that, it was like, the 50s, everybody happy, the beaver cleaver, but then like it was totally changed. Alfred Kinsey came along and fucking changed everybody's ideas about, only having sex in marriage, and that kind of thing. And then they had like, the Grateful Dead and the LSD and the MK Ultra, all that, totally changing the entire reality of everybody was changed. And
in a very relatively short period of time.
Right.
The change between the 50s and 60s, as far as the time scale in the United States, radical change, man. Really
right. Radical. And I think that hallucinogens were important for that, because like you can't change that fast when nobody's getting high. I mean, if it's just a normal day and then all of a sudden they're giving you these freaks with crazy colors and long hair, people would just be like, that's silly, you know. But, you know, if you take a hallucinogen, that breaks down the ego and the boundaries of what you think and how you think. And it helps you to like see from a different perspective kind of thing. And then if you are being given these ideas of like, you know, take drugs, leave home, go to San Francisco with flowers in your hair, these ideas were like put into the people's minds, and they all just came in 67. They all just showed up, you know. And 66, we talked about before, is year one in the Satanic Church. And that was when Anton LaVey's Church of Satan was created. And it was created in San Francisco. Like, everybody come to San Francisco, everybody, you know.
The timing is off the charts, right? It's just
right.
Like all that stuff, yeah. And
the Golden Gate was like the gate to the West, like where your soul goes to die, you know. Like it's very occult if you look into that, but we don't need to go into that.
But I think the context of this film is very important. You know, context for all the films. I mean, Eyes Wide Shut, the context, the take, and everything.
Yes.
I mean, same with all that. So,
and 99 is right before 2001, the beginning.
Right. So these guys, right. So these guys are like they want to get the movie, the producers or the directors or whoever the creatives are, they're thinking about the time when the movie's coming out. They're not just thinking about the making of it. Like, this is the movie that I want to put out at this time.
Yes, exactly. Because they are engineering the society. Right. And this is a huge piece of it. That's why we're taking so much time to talk about it.
You can get even deeper that she's a symbol of American society. Do you want to say that they're leading her into this, they're giving the birth of the child, the symbolic birth of the new Aeon.
Yes, exactly that. She is the psyche of the viewers. She is, you know, the emotions of, you know, the
unsuspecting. She's the protagonist, right?
Right. Yeah. And she, like, much like that Midsommar, you could consider that main character to be the psyche of the people, you know, and how they burn away the Christian ethos and they go back to the occult paganism, you know, because it's healthier for her mental processes as a human. Like, it's really interesting film, that one. But
it's somewhere. It's unfortunately it's fairly similar to this. Like, she's being taken on a journey. She's the protagonist at the very end. Is like
she has no real understanding of what's happening until the very end. And she's,
And
then she consents. She gives her will to it. She's like, yes, okay, good. It's, you know, and that's really what the magicians want from you. Is will.
That's the deepest thing about this film, really. I mean, there's a lot of deep, like there's the Satanism aspect or witchcraft, but just the fact that they're gonna you know, that she is the representation of the society or the human being is crazy.
Yes, and it totally fits with the idea of that satanic zeitgeist being birthed on 66, you know. So anyway, let's keep moving. She says it has an undertaste, and he says, now eat it. She slaved all day, now eat. He's like telling her.
But even these words are important. The old bat, right? The bat. She's slaving for Satan. She's slaving for you. Eat
That's
it.
interesting.
Like, the slave shall serve. Right. These kind of terms are like the bat is like flies at night. Even that's kind of a new thing. So.
And, you know, like Dracula and stuff, she's, you know, Dracula had to be invited in the door just like Minnie Mouse, like, you know, Minnie's Moose, I guess. But anyway, so he's like demanding, now eat it, right? She's like, okay. You know, it's gross to watch, like, him dominate her like that. So he walks into the other room and she dumps it in her napkin because she's gonna do her own will despite his dominating demeanor. And then she shows him the empty cup in the next one, and she's like, do I get a gold star? She's like making fun of the fact that he's really making her, you know, eat it. You know, so it's really, It's kind of sick to watch. So going on to the next one. Uh, Guy is in front of the television, and he's watching the Pope visit Yankee Stadium. And the guy on TV says he's making a full circle of the park. It's the Pope at Yankee Stadium. And like a circle is like a magic circle, right? So the Pope is circumambulating this park. Like, what is he doing, right? But the Pope is in New York on the day that she gets inseminated. That's important.
Wow, that's incredible.
He was there visiting. And when she's dreaming, he shows up. So that's very important to say. So he might not be there to visit Yankee Stadium.
Are you saying the Pope was involved in the ritual? Is that what they're implying?
I think, well, he was there in her dream, and he made her kiss his ring, and his ring had the tannis root charm on it. And I think that maybe because she dreams stuff that is in real life in her dream, like when she hears people talking through the door or through the wall, she dreams in her dream what is being said. So like that happens sometimes when you take elements of what's happening in real life around you through your senses while you're dreaming, and it influences your dream. So I can't be sure, but he shows up at the moment that the ritual is happening, and all of the coven is there also surrounding her. Like she kind of sees them with her eyes open, and they're all like naked in the darkness surrounding the bed. It's a bunch of old people, and maybe the Pope was there too, because she's in and out of consciousness. And I mean, this is kind of wild, but if you believe in the David Icke reptile theory, Arizona Wilder gave an interview with him talking about how she has seen people turn into reptiles. I mean, it's a silly idea, I know, but like their form actually turns into a big reptile. And the thing that is raping her has reptile eyes, and maybe it was the Pope himself. I mean, who knows? I'm speculating, of course, and being a little poetic.
Is it incredible that he's there? So she's either dreaming it or something's going on.
She's either dreaming it or he's there physically, but he is physically in New York on that night. So he's visiting New York City on the same night she's inseminated. And
going through a magic circle with widdershins, right? Isn't there specific terms in witchcraft?
Yeah,
you go around the circle. It's widdershins and something else.
Yeah, widdershins is the counterclockwise. Yeah, because the sun moves around a sundial, the shadow moves clockwise, and so like if you're doing anything in magic that's circular, you'll go with the sun and go clockwise. That's why the clock goes to the right. Because like that works with nature, right? And if you're working against nature, you go, the left-hand path is where your altar is on your left. And then if you're walking around your altar in a circle and you keep the altar on your left, then you'd be going in a counterclockwise fashion. That's called widdershins.
And those are magic circles. My understanding, I've read Gardnerian witchcraft. The magic circle and the circle inside and outside, very important. It's a fundamental aspect of those witchcraft rituals is the circle. You got to draw a circle. Right. You're within it. You're supposed to be in another dimension when you're within that circle.
Right. I think it's like that's where they are, like the other spirits are contained within the circle when you manifest them. And then you yourself have to be in a triangle, like outside of the circle, so that they don't attack you. It's like
there's another element. I'm pretty sure I have to go back and look when I read Gardner's stuff, because I read Gardner because he knew Crowley, so he took some of these rituals. But there's something about he wrote something about being inside the circle, you're inside some other environment or something.
Right.
I'll double check that.
Right.
But it just
I
ties
think
in.
Crowley went in the circle when Karanzan, with that Karanzan thing in the desert, and he let it like
Attack and
incorporate,
rend him,
incorporate into him or something, and then he tried to like eat the other guy. He was like, it was really a disgusting scenario. We don't need to talk about it, but okay. So this is a special day. It says on the TV, you know. And anyway, she's drugged. We can see, and it says that in 4139. It says
4139.
Pope Paul VI arrived at 9:27 a.m. That's what the TV's saying, and that's the moment when she's like teetering and she drops the chair in the kitchen. So 9:27 a.m. That might have some occult significance. I just wanted to have it here for everybody to see. You know, I didn't really go that far into it. But she's dizzy, and he's carrying her into the bedroom in the 4216. And then after that...
One of the interesting things about the scene is that light is kind of evocative of the moon. It kind of has a moon theme to it.
Yeah, it does. You're right. Yeah, and the moon is like related to the the witches' Sabbath. It's the goddess, of anyway. So she's dizzy, and he carries her into the room, and he lays her down. And under the rhombus, like the male symbol, like he's taking control of her, right? And so 4233, the dream starts. And so
one of the interesting things, sorry to interrupt, but one of the interesting things is there's a picture, I'm pretty sure, of Polanski's wife Tate with... Now, there was two different strains of witchcraft, Gardnerian and Alexandrian. There's a picture of her with like Alexander's. I'm almost positive somewhere out there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think they were far more involved in witchcraft than people.
She's high up there, and they also wanted to have. They wanted Tuesday Weld for the role. They were going to have Polanski's wife, and then they were going to have Tuesday Weld, who is huge. She's like a cult priestess. Like, she's like leader of covens and shit. She's related to the Governor Weld from Massachusetts. She's like one of those families that's connected to power. And they raised her SRA, and they made her... She lives as a witch. She doesn't make movies anymore. She's very... People look into Tuesday Weld. That's the Beatles sing about Tuesday Weld. Tuesday's on the phone to me. No,
I've heard that same story. Yeah, very much. I think McGowan wrote about her too, like that she was a flat out witch.
Yeah, she is. It's a very deep rabbit hole. People need to go down that trail and take a look. So yeah, the dream is starting. She's floating on water. Her bed is like, she's falling into the dream of the subconscious, floating into the, unconscious, I guess. I'll just leave it there. So he's taken off her clothes. She's like, oh, I need to make a baby. And he says, yeah, we'll do it. Sure. And then he starts, she's like, oh, it's time to make a baby. And he's like, yeah, sure. And he's like undressing her as she's kind of falling in and out of consciousness. And 4315.
Yeah, we'll do it. He says we'll do it. 4315. Let's go.
And they dream JFK on a yacht. It's the guy, the actor looks just like JFK. And later he says, well, I'll just save it for later. So there's JFK there. he's like the captain of the boat. You know, he's steering the ship, and it's kind of like, you know, JFK steering, like taking control of the psyche of the people. Like she's one of the citizens. You know, like he's her leader type idea. And so in the next one, 4324, it's Hutch. It morphs into Hutch. Like, he is her strong leader that she trusts, like, you know, the intelligent male that she looks up to for advice. And then they're taking off 4330. And, oh, she's taking off her clothes. She's like, why are you taking them off? She's in the dream, but she's dreaming of his hands. So, like, both elements are combined in this dream, you know. And 4336, he says, go to sleep, Rosemary. He's like, he's telling her, we don't want you to be conscious. And look, he's in darkness. He looks very sinister in this picture. So 4401.
4401, my guy pulls off her pants.
It's just her legs or whatever it's like. So he's pulling off her dress, and she's on this boat, and he's in total command of her. I think this was one of the scenes that was taken out when it was cut for the movie theaters when it was released.
Is there like a director's cut of this? Do you know? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think this is what we're watching is director's cut. I know the Criterion did a release of this. I think that this one actually has some of the frame chopped off, because I've seen larger pictures of certain points in the movie. So I'm scouring the internet for another version, but I didn't get one yet. So anyway, this is Hutch on the dock that she's leaving him behind, and he has all those scrolls in his left hand. And if you know about statues and, you know, the occult ideas of statuary, if somebody has a scroll in their left hand, that means that they hold occult knowledge. That's common it's just known. Plus, he's wearing binoculars.
It's like, yeah, the same sign. If you point to like your head in certain things, if you do this gesture means I have occult knowledge too. You can see one of the presidents doing that. I forgot which one it was.
Yeah, right.
The recent one, the one I can't remember his name.
So, like, and another, you know, like if the dude is riding, if the guy in the sculpture is riding a horse, if like one leg of the horse is up, it means this, and if both legs are up, it means that he was physically in battle. Like there's a whole lot of significance to that. But anyway, the scrolls, he had a lot of scrolls. That shows he has a lot of knowledge, and she's leaving him behind. And then JFK says to her, Catholics only. She's like, why are we leaving him behind? He's Catholics only. You're coming with us now. And so I think that is related. And we were talking before about how the Catholic Church is an extension of the occult, of the old religion of Babylon. And it's just kind of got Jesus paint job, you know, facade on it. But really it's the same rituals and the same holidays as the cult of Tammuz and Ishtar, you know, the Babylonian fertility sun god, you know, that whole thing. So anyway, she has lived the life of rituals, and it's Catholic rituals. So she's the proper vehicle for Satan's baby, right? So he's removing her ring. So that, again, he's like taking off the symbol of their the holy matrimony, you know, so that Satan can have free reign over her body.
So like the sacred symbol of the wedding. Yeah.
Yes. So she's dreaming of being under Sistine Chapel. like Michelangelo, and this is in Rome. This is St. Peter's Basilica. So this is
It's a symbol of God and Adam, right? So it's
yeah,
Michelangelo.
birth of man, I guess. That's where everybody, that's famous, where the fingers are touching and God is stretching out and man is just like, not really trying. And it's so it's there's a lot of occult significance to that painting by Michelangelo. People can look into that. It looks like God looks like a brain, like in the way it's shaped, and very interesting stuff. So here Hutch is warning of a typhoon. So like Typhon is the god of the ocean, Poseidon, and he's got a trident holding it up in the air, and he's got a sextant, and that's for like naval, for finding your way on the ocean, through the stars, with the stars. And I just wanted to say that, and it's like a wind storm god, and that is the same. The Baal or whatever, the Typhon is like a storm god, and that's
Storm god, right?
Like,
but he's also
considered a storm god too.
Yeah, I think Typhonian. There's a Typhonian stream and kind of the witchcraft, but
right,
also
the OTO is Typhon.
Yeah, it's Kenneth Grant, and also he's a symbol of, and this actually plays into the Order of Nine Angles. He's a symbol of rebellion against the order because he was thrust down into the ocean, and he wants to come back to his ascended height. So Typhon in the cult it's almost like a satanic thing where I want my station back at the top with the Titans and with the gods. Yeah, so Typhon.
Right, and it's like, and he's like, the ocean is like darkness, and it's the wet, the opposite of like sunlight, and dry, like all the opposite of the solar deity would be the Typhon. And Churchill also would do the V symbol, and that was taught to him by Aleister Crowley, and it's a Typhonic symbol because Crowley or Hitler was using a solar symbol with the swastika, and so he clued Churchill into that, doing the V as like an opposition to that, and he told everybody it means victory, but really it's a magic symbol representing Typhon.
Interesting. All right, next one. Interesting. I mean, so they put a lot in this movie. I mean,
I'm sorry.
They took their time. They took their. This is like Eyes Wide Shut. Every clip had something in it.
Yeah, I mean, I took a lot of photographs. We don't have to stop at all of them, but I mean, most of them have something to talk about.
We can go. Let's see, we're at 46 minutes. This goes on to 2 hours. Oh man, this might be a 3-parter.
Right on. That's fine. I hope your listeners don't mind. So anyway, so he's saying she needs to go down below, and he is the elevator operator, and he has black skin. That's in occult symbolism, like it represents like a servant of darkness, right? And we don't think that today, and it's not, but that's I just wanted to mention that he was the operator of the elevator, and the elevator is a satanic symbol which pulls you down in a box down to hell. And if people look into the elevator, they could see there's a lot of satanic references to that. So this makes us remember the elevator, and he's driving her boat right now,
right. So
and he tells her
down, right?
Yes, he's guiding her down below. Yes, he's guiding her down below. And we're going to the next one.
Yeah, this one is something else. It's super occult.
Right. So we see that the checkered floor is black on black, and it's a bare mattress in front of a dark fireplace. And on the wall behind them are candles where there's 2 candles each. So that's like the duality on the wall. I can't really see what's on the chair. I don't know what that is. Maybe stuffed animals or something. But anyway, that looks like a very rapey situation that she's just walking right into it. It's black on black checkers is, we understand the checkerboard floor is Masonic.
Right. Yeah, totally
And
Masonic.
we see behind her the mattress has rose prints on it.
Right.
And she's blonde. They prefer blondes.
In the I don't want to show the next one, this nudity, but they
Is
in
there?
the
I thought I didn't.
it's okay. In the Masonic Lodge, the black and white checkerboard represents we walk above good and evil. So we're
Right.
beyond the ordinary. We're beyond ordinary
Right.
morality. That's what it is.
And the black represents the evil. And if you look, the checkerboard here is all black. It's black on black. They walk above evil and evil.
Wow.
And that's like where she lays down is upon the evil. So, and the rose, her name is Rose, the rose on the mattress. And I think the next one with the old people standing around, it is in darkness. I don't think we really see much of the old people. We don't have to. We can just imagine.
Let's get the chanting here.
Okay.
Castavet's chanting, and he's going to start drawing, right?
Oh, yeah. So he is drawing on her body with a paintbrush. It's red, probably blood. And we can see Dr. Saperstein is right there next to him watching as he paints. And he's in his occult robe. The Castavet is in his occult robe. And, everybody's chanting in foreign language.
All right, so then here's Minnie and Guy together, naked.
Yep. And he says, oh my God, she's awake. And she says, she doesn't see anything. As long as she ate the mouse, she's knocked out. And he's like worried that she's going to wake up and see it. Because he wants to reduce her suffering as much as he can, but he has no power. He gave away the power to the Castavets.
Right, so if she ate the mouse,
right,
she can't see nor hear. She's like dead, no sing.
Right, and now she's making him sing along with the ritual, so he's participating all the way. And now
is this woman supposed to be Jackie Bouvier? Because she looks like JFK's wife.
It might be.
Weird.
It might be because. Yeah, maybe so. I always thought it was like an older version of the Tammy girl that jumped out the window in the beginning. But I think you're right. That might be Jackie Onassis or whatever.
Jackie Onassis, yeah.
Yeah.
So then, let's see. Oh, yeah, here come the devil's hands.
Oh, and she says, you better have your legs tied down. Yeah. For the listeners that aren't watching, it looks like JFK's wife saying, you better have your legs tied down. Yeah, she was like... she says it's only a mouse bite, right? And then we see the hands of some reptilian thing. They're like scales. And it's like, and we see that there's like pictures and numbers painted on her.
Right, so they've scrawled something on her.
Yeah, and the thing has like big fingernails. Yeah.
Did you ever hear the story that LaVey was in this movie or was somehow involved in it? I
did hear that, but I don't think I believe it. I think that he was involved. He was involved in answering questions and making sure that it goes along with true Satanism. He was an advisor on the film, but I don't believe he was in the costume. I think that was like people hear that he was involved in the film and then they imagine he must have been the guy in the costume. Because there's no real evidence for that. I haven't found any. So she does wake up. She sees with her eyes open, this is no dream. This is really happening. And then she falls back into the dream. But she sees the eyes of this thing that's attacking her.
Cat eyes or something, yeah.
Yeah.
The Pope. The Pope has he's traveling with his
he's got
suitcase. He's got the news in, so is that a newspaper or is it clothes?
I don't know. It looks like cloth. But he's got his hat with the 3 crowns on it. and he's there visiting her. It's a very special occasion, you know. So the last scene was the Pope, or was the reptile eyes like mounting her, and then she sees the Pope. You know, I think there might be an illusion there. There might be a connection. And he's worried about her health, and she's talking to the Pope about the mouse bite that she had, like she's been invaded by this mouse. And like we were talking about culture creation, Mickey Mouse is a very big part of the satanic culture that we live in today. You know, like the psyche of the people has been infected by a mouse bite, literally. So, well, not literally, figuratively, I guess. So we get a close-up of the Pope's ring, and it's customary to kiss the ring of the Pope, and that is the charm, the tannis root charm. So the Pope wears tannis root also. So that's tannis root is the devil's pepper. We talked about that in the earlier episode. So the Pope is signifying that he's part of this cult right now in her dream. But it is a dream, so, you know, it's not actually. But I mean, in any case, the filmmakers are telling us that the Pope is connected.
So I didn't know. I didn't get that whole Pope theme. So here she is. She has scratches on. He's saying that it was him, so he knows he's gaslighting her again.
Right. And he's like all animated, and you know he's an actor. We can see he's nervous about it. That he has to lie to her now for 9 months, and then give away.
And that's an interesting aspect. So that, like, he's like almost the perfect guy for the role.
Yes.
Because he's an actor, so he can portray whatever to his wife to get the birth of the Antichrist done, right? Of devil.
Yes. And we saw that Roman Castevet was friends with many actors in the past, and like Majeska, and we talked about some of them, and they were Masonic, they were knighted, they did Shakespeare, and Shakespeare is almost like an affront to Catholicism. You know, it's like a shaking the spear to the ruling class of the church, you know. So she has she has scratches on her, physical evidence that it wasn't just a dream, and he's trying to say like it was him, and he said,
"Oh, it's a necrophile sort of way, right?"
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I didn't want to miss baby night. It was kind of fun in a necrophile sort of way." I mean, what kind of joke is that? Like, who? Right. That's really messed up. And she's like discovering that he, you know, took advantage of her while she was unconscious, and like, it's not very romantic, and like not the way to make a baby. You know, it's really sick. So this guy, I mean, he's just a real.
It would be the way to make a baby if it was Satan, though, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because it'd be the opposite of love. It'd be fear and domination. You know, all that.
And there's the Tesseract again, just like an Eyes Wide Shut.
Right.
So for those in the know, they would just see this and go, "Yep, there she is. She's now captured."
Yes, exactly. We see her head is framed within the frame, like she is framed within a frame. We call that in photography. And then even further frame of the light around her head. So her head is trapped within this light box, right? And that is this door on the left side of the screen is dominating the scene, and we see that it's the cube within the cube. That's the tesseract on the door, that symbol. So she's trapped now. She's trapped within the box because she's inseminated now.
She doesn't know it yet. You know? Right. She doesn't know it, but the filmmaker's telling you,
right?
Trapped.
Mm-hmm. And now she learns that she's pregnant from Dr. Hill, and she's so happy.
Right. She doesn't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what's on its way.
Yeah.
And he tells her it's June, 28th is the
June
date.
28th was the date. Here, let me look on the calendar and see. June 28th. June 1 is Demon Revels. June 20th is Grand Climax through June 27th. And that is, date varies annually. 5 weeks, 1 day after summer solstice, sexual and blood rituals. Abduction, ceremonial preparation, and holding of a sacrificial victim for Lammas Day. And there's like rape and human sacrifice. And then August 1 is Lammas Day, which is one of the high holidays. It's a blood ritual, animal and or human sacrifice, according to the witches' calendar.
So you're in November, the 11, right? She's in the 11th month.
Yeah,
She's
11-1.
Yeah, 11.
Right, so that's 3 1s. Also, she's getting, it just says blood. And here, I've got, so, let's see. Sorry, I got this.
It's okay.
Blood ritual, November 1st, the day after Samhain. The day after Halloween is November 1st. And a blood ritual is one that involves the intentional release of blood. And that's what the doctor on the phone is asking for. He's asking for an intentional release of blood on that day. She writes it down. The participants may regard the release or consumption of blood as producing energy useful as a sexual, healing, or mental stimulus. In other cases, blood is a primary component as the sacrifice or material component for a spell. So that's like what a blood ritual is for people. So now he's excited. He wants to tell Minnie and Roman. First people he wants to tell is Minnie and Roman. That's because he's excited that he succeeded in his job. You know, he works for them. You know,
he's fulfilled it. He's also wearing purple, like the color of royalty. She's got the white halo around.
Yes,
so
like the Virgin. Yes,
yeah,
yes, and like the magicians would wear purple. And it's like the top chakra, the crown chakra, connecting to you know, the astral world where your soul connects to your body.
Right, no, this is incredible.
The highest level of entertainment.
Had all the colors down and everything.
So he's already told them we're trying. Like, he's like, come on, let me tell them. She's like, she feels an invasion of privacy. And
what does it matter?
Right.
Why do these people care? These weird people who are
so much.
Who live upstairs or whatever.
Yeah, next door. Yeah. And it's so important for them. And then they come right over and they got alcohol, and she tells Rosemary, "You're going to Abe Saperstein." She just tells her, "You're doing it." And then like they talk about how Abe Saperstein is like a you know, well-renowned, has a great
he delivered our friends' babies, right?
Right, exactly.
Something like that. Like, oh, who are your friends?
The highfalutin types that have lots of money. So, and that's basically what the satanic cults do. Serve those people, you know, like, you know, we see with Eyes Wide Shut and stuff too. It's the rich people that are engaging in this, and they have these riches because of their connection to the cult. And so on. So anyway, they just come over and demand, "You're going to Saperstein." And Saperstein was there at the ritual when they were writing on her body with the paintbrush. So, I mean, we don't, like, if you've seen this movie for the first time, you don't recognize that. But when you watch it again, so anyway, she's thinking, okay, I want the baby to be healthy. And she knows this thing is a good luck charm, in quotes. So she goes and puts the charm on the Tanis root. So she is consenting to be under the control of Minnie and Roman.
Right, and she's got all that. The whole white theme is there, so she's like,
virginal.
Virginal.
Right. Yes.
Or Saperstein. This guy was a really famous actor. I forgot his Bellamy. His real name is Bellamy.
Right. Yeah, I didn't write that down. I should have.
He warns her, don't read books, right?
Yes. Yeah. Who would trust somebody that says that?
Yeah.
Don't
Not me.
read books, and then in
Don't
the next
listen to
line,
your friends.
yeah. Don't listen to your friends. Who would go along with that? It's
Who
like
wouldn't
every
just, like,
woman's nightmare. Like,
yeah. Like,
yeah.
who
So
would
now she has to now she's under the control of this guy, who's like some dominant male, you know, physician.
right? So she's just constantly in that passive role or whatever, the
Yes. Yeah.
subservient role. The
Right.
whole movie
Right. The vessel.
until the end. Yeah, the vessel
Right.
role, the chalice role.
Yes. Yes. So she's taking this milk concoction, milk drink, and I don't know if you guys have, and I don't know if you ever heard of bong. It's like the Indians drink this milk drink with, it's got hashish in it, and they celebrate Shiva when they drink this stuff, and
Never heard of that.
it's the only religious milk drink I could think of, like when I was watching this. But
How do you spell? How would it be spelled in English?
I think it's Bang, bong. Anyway, they have a Shiva festival, and everybody drinks it. The kids drink it, adults drink it. It's a mixture of milk with different herbs and hashish.
It says BHA, at least in Wikipedia.
Oh, there you go. Good.
I don't know how
Yeah,
reliable
that makes
you
more
can,
sense.
right, you can call Wikipedia these days.
Well, it's a good place to start sometimes. Yeah, bong. Yeah, it's a milk drink, and they have it when they
Early
celebrate.
1000 BC in ancient India, distributed during the spring festival of Maha Shivaratri, or
Holly, yeah, and that's a fertility festival, and Shiva is another version of the like Inanna, Ishtar, that's related to that. Like Shiva's the male version, and Shanti is the female, and I think it relates to that. But I don't know if they're doing that in this book or in this movie. But I guess I could have looked further in witchcraft.
I mean,
it's probably. But anyway, it's
you could probably, if you read through witchcraft, you can probably see a lot more in this film that
right.
you may not know. Because I think somebody who is into witchcraft, they can see a lot more, recognize certain stuff.
Yeah. I tried my best to look into that realm of knowledge, and I mean, in any case, it is a witch's brew that she is accepting every day to take. So now she mentions her hair. It's Vidal Sassoon, which is like the famous hairstylist dude, and Roman Polanski's wife had a hairstylist there when the wife was murdered. That guy was a famous movie star hairstylist.
Oh, he worked there. It was a Jay Sebring?
Jay Sebring, right.
Did he work for Vidal Sassoon?
I don't know if he did, but Vidal Sassoon popularized the bob cut, I think, and then like even shorter. It's like gender bending type stuff. Like women are known to have, it's normal for women to have long hair in that society. And
the pixie cut, I think they called it, or something like that.
Yeah, right. And like the men were getting longer hair, and in this movie, the woman is being shown to have short hair. And I think it's a subtle it's showing us the opposite of, it's like the Widdershins version of a haircut. It's against the natural feminine
order of things, right?
Yes, it's working against that. And her being blonde is important for the cult, And look at the lighting; she looks like a skeleton, like this.
She looks terrible.
Yeah.
And she's eating raw meat.
Yeah, that's later on. Yeah.
Not raw yet, but she's eating.
Yeah, no, she
barely
cooks raw meat. She eats like turkey liver. Oh yeah, right here it's 6 seconds on the pan, like 3 seconds each side. It's so rare, it's disgusting. And she like takes a bite of the stuff, like it's great. So her tastes are changing. It's not normal cravings of a mother.
Right.
Pregnant woman will have weird cravings, but this is like raw meat, and it shows the bestial nature of her urges and cravings. Now she has this evil growing inside of her, and you know, meat symbolizes the domination of another species, where you kill and eat something is like you totally owning that, and like, you know. Anyway, so this is Hutch visiting her, and he says, "What's wrong with you?" He's instantly notices that she's emaciated and skeletal almost, and her hair is all short, and so guys always saying, "Oh, it's just the haircut that makes you look bad." He's saying,
Right.
she says she looks awful, but guys like, "Nah, whatever, you're fine." And Saperstein says, "Oh, you're going to gain weight later. This is normal. Don't worry about it." Yeah, and Hutch understands natural processes of pregnancy, and he says to her, pregnant women gain weight. They don't lose it. And she's like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." She's like, "No." She's not paying attention to the reality, and she's walking blindly into this, control
Right.
of their, evil cult.
So Kutch comes over, and then it's Castavets pops in, right, with the black checkered clothes, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's Houndstooth, I think.
Right?
But he just shows up. He hears the guy, and he's like, "Oh, what's going on?"
Better
Snooping, making
check this
sure.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she invites him in, and then we see that he has a pierced ear, and pierced ear is a blood ritual that is used in Wiccan magic.
Hmm.
So it shows that he wears jewelry, which is weird for a man to do, and so he's hiding something. She notices that, and he continues on. And she says, I'll bet expectant mothers chew bits of tannis root." She says that because she thinks that tannis root is healthy, and that's why she's drinking it. And Hutch is like, "Huh? Tannis root?" And Hutch takes that little piece of information, and he goes and looks it up himself.
Right. So he figures stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
So here is.
Yeah.
It looks like mold.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And he uses his critical thinking mind, and he's like, "That doesn't look like root. That looks like mold." And he smells it, and it smells bad. And he's like inspecting it, and then she says that after he goes away, she says they're too friendly. She says to Hutch, "They are too friendly. They are invading my space." She's very uncomfortable with how friendly they are, and then we find that yep, sometimes I think they're too friendly, and then he's leaving after Guy comes home, and they go to the closet to get his coat, and he's missing a glove, which is important.
Right.
And later we'll find out why. And
they're just weird, strange clothes. Like this clothes that he wears, variety, white jacket. She changes colors. She goes from drab to light. So
right,
just strange. Yeah.
Like he had just had to run home from the movie set, and he's still got his makeup on. She even talks about it later. Like he's wearing his costume for the thing. Like he had to run home because he was called by Minnie, probably. "Hey, get home. Somebody's in that apartment. What the hell?"
Right. Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
right,
like, guy shows up to usher the guy out again.
Right. And here she is not feeling well, but she starts making calls. And where's my notes? So this is her not feeling well, but there was at this point she's calling, but there are like repeats of 11s, like 11s over and over. So Hutch dies, but this is what I noticed when I was watching it. And 11's the number of magic. It's all over the
If
place.
if you look at the timestamp, taken ill is 1:11. That's the 1 hour and 11 minutes into the movie.
Wow.
And and November 1 is 11/1.
Right.
You
Do
know,
you think that they actually timed that? They might have.
I think so. I think that because they had the advice of LaVey, he understands that 11 is a satanic number. 11 is like the next level up,
and she has to like call. She has to.
Of life. Go ahead.
Right. She starts getting suspicious, so she has to make a call from a payphone, right?
Mm.
So she doesn't even want to call from home.
Yes. And she went to go meet him that morning, and he didn't show up.
That's right. That's right.
And she learns that he's in a deep coma, and this is at 1:11:47 in the film. So this is 1 hour and 11 minutes. So that one is like really being hammered in right now, the 11 thing. So he's in a deep coma, and then we learn later that that coma is one of the things that they can do. So she's in pain, and that sculpture in the window is an Alberto Giacometti sculpture. It's he's famous for bronze, tall, thin figures made in the years of 1945 to 60. And the emaciated figurines are often interpreted as a existential fear, insignificance, and loneliness of mankind.
Wow.
Yeah, it feels sad and lonely, difficult to relate to. So
they should have given the set designer here like an Oscar, because they got all kinds of stuff in here. All the doors look weird, and then like in different scenes, all the lamps are different shapes and color, upside down. Triangles, circles, like it's just like somebody really thought through it. And like we're gonna have this here, we're gonna do this.
Yes, and the being in the rain, that sculpture is in the rain. That's like emotive, like crying and
sorrow. Wow.
So yeah, this is fun. All right, so that was Alberto Giacometti statue. And so now she's explaining her pain to Saperstein, and he's like nonchalant, like, oh, whatever, it's fine, And this is at a New Year's party. It's New Year 1966.
Right.
Yes, exactly. And then, so she's like, hey, I'm in pain. And he's like, yeah, whatever. Okay, fine. It'll go away. Just forget it. It'll go away in a couple days. Like, they keep telling her that. So now he
and I think it's at this party. Sorry, I think it's at this party where the guy comes up and fully makes the sign of silence. So this you'll see this gesture in occult statuary and stuff like that. But see him, he goes up and does that to Saperstein.
Yeah, that's Harpocrates.
Like the sign of Harpocrates. Exactly.
Yeah, and you'll find that in Crowley's Thoth deck and stuff. Harpocrates, like to know, to will, to dare, and to be silent. Like those are the dictums of the magician. That's actually what the Sphinx represents, and I think there is a Sphinx in this movie too. So, this is great. So yes, so these people are all in the cult. Yeah. These are the people that play the recorder through the wall, or where you can hear the chanting and stuff. And Saperstein is there with them celebrating.
He knows what's coming. He knows what's coming.
That's right. And Roman Castevet is making a toast to 1966, the year one.
Right. So he knows what's coming.
That's right.
Let's see. All right. So then she starts eating livers.
Yeah, eating raw liver. She just can't control herself. Just num num num. Pulls it out of the chicken, and everybody knows that chicken, the salmonella, you got to cook this. You can't just eat raw chicken.
No way. It's super dangerous.
Right. But she is overcome with these urges to just eat that raw liver. So that, it relates to carnism and, the domination of others, fear and death and sacrifice and all of those things, right?
Country flavor cookbook too is right there too. So
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
So I should have looked at those books too, man. I missed that
But
one.
I mean, the thing is
There's
that
probably more.
yeah, there's probably. But I think it may be just the juxtaposition of kind of like normalcy with her eating livers raw, which is very abnormal.
Right. And we see her in the reflection of the toaster. And if you see, the moment in the film is 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 41 seconds. It's a mirror 14 to 41.
Wow.
So, like, the moment she sees the reflection is the moment on the film when there's a reflection in the time. So she by chance sees her reflection and she's appalled. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm eating raw
what
liver."
is this?
Yeah. So like your conscious mind doesn't want to do that. She does not want to, but her urge inside is like, eat the blood, So they have a party to make Rosemary feel better, and they mention, "Is this guy still blind?" And we see on Guy's face his guilt, and he wants to change the subject because he's responsible.
He knows.
Yeah, right. And so
it's like girl talk. They're all girls are together.
Right. So she's doubled over in pain, and this happens to be the same dress that Prince William's wife wore when she was displaying her baby. Yeah, I might have that on my. I guess I can't share the screen, but anyway, people can look that up. It's like a cranberry red dress with like a white doily around the neck, and she was presenting her baby, and it's like makes us think of Rosemary's Baby. It was next level, really interesting. So she is being consoled by her girlfriends, and they're keeping Guy out. So that's important for SRA victims. SRA victims are kept in a world where everything is controlled by the cult, and they're not allowed to consort to talk to their friends, and they're kept segregated. Like they do that with cults too. It's a way of like keeping the mind control in place, because if you have outside influences, then that might erode the mind control that they're trying to put her under. So now she has natural influences from women that are real women that aren't part of the cult, and they're telling her, suffering, when you feel pain, that's a sign that there's a problem, and she's like, "Oh, the doctor says it's fine." And they're telling her, "You got to see another doctor." And she says, "I won't have an abortion." So that kind of goes along with the fear of women that are pregnant. If they're watching this movie while they're pregnant, oh, maybe I should have an abortion. Maybe my friends, she assumes her girlfriends want her to have an abortion, but they're like, no, we just want you to get a second opinion. She just assumed, because that's like the zeitgeist at the time. Oh, kill it,
Right.
So he says they're a bunch of bitches and they're not smart, and you're not allowed to see them anymore. And you must keep seeing Dr. Saperstein. I won't allow you to go back to Dr. Hill.
Yeah, so here he is gaslighting her and also totally controlling her.
Yes, and she's got black eyes and she's emaciated.
She looks terrible.
Yeah, like a skeleton. Like that thing inside of her is like eating her from the inside, And he says, "I won't let you do it." He demands that she keep being under his control. They don't want the outside influence, like I was saying. And then all of a sudden it stops. And she says it's alive. And then in the corner we see a sculpture that is not emaciated. It's more of a voluptuous, fuller-bodied female sculpture. and it's like all of a sudden it's relieved, and we see the roses under the light, and like the spell, like they put a spell to make it stop the pain because the pain was too much, where she was gonna be out of their control anymore. So they must have done something to make the pain stop at that moment. So she's so happy, it's kicking, and then he touches the belly, and then he was like afraid to touch, and she says like, "Well, what are you afraid of? You know, whatever." But he knows it's Satan's baby. Yeah.
Right, he knows.
So we can keep skipping.
So then we go to Hutch is dead.
Yep, Hutch is dead.
And then she finds out he sent her a book when she's at his funeral, right? So make sure you get the book.
Right.
Let's get that going.
And the woman at the funeral says she must give her the book. That was his request. And then in the next slide, she says the name is an anagram. And when she gets home, Minnie reads the book. She reads the address. Okay, yeah. So she says the name is an anagram. Like, what? The name of the book? She doesn't understand, really. But she'll get it later.
And there's just, look at these strange clothes. The clothes change in ways that are very unusual. Maybe they were just had different styles back then, but
yeah, the 60s, they wore funny kind of crazy stuff. So this is Minnie Castevet is like inspecting who it's from, what address it's from. She's like weighing it, like, oh yeah, that's a book, right?
Oh, the Gilmores used to live there.
Yeah, she knows the house, like, whoa, very Snoopy, So, so that puts the woman who gave her the book in danger, just because Minnie saw this. So anyway, the name of the book is All of Them Witches, and that's not a real book; it's a fictional book created for the film. And when you open the book, we'll see Thomas Colley. And I don't know if that's a picture of Thomas Colley, but Thomas Colley is a real person. And I've got it here. Let's see. Sorry. Thomas Colley was a real person who was put to death for killing an accused witch.
Wow. And then, what's interesting is this reminds me of The Ninth Gate, because the sketchings and art in this book kind of have a similar feel. Like there's definitely in the background, you can see the, at least of Colley, you can see this, what is it, the Zodiac, right? Upper left-hand corner. That kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, right.
And it says, inevitably, since the god of the old religion became the devil of the new, the tables were turned. Pan's public image changed from white to black, for the very qualities and somethings which had endeared her to the ancient world made her something by the colder one of Christianity. So they're openly against Christianity in this.
Immorality.
Right.
So like
the mind of the witches, from the mouth goddess into the maid of the witches. Wow.
Right. And those are capitalized, so that's a specific thing, the maid of the witches. Thomas Colley was one of the leaders of a mob in 1751 who seized an elderly couple, like the Castevets are an elderly couple, wow. John and Ruth Osborne, from a local workhouse, accusing them of witchcraft. The mob subjected the pair to dunking at a nearby pond at Willstone. Ruth was beaten and dragged through the water repeatedly until Colley drowned her by turning her face down with a stick. John, the husband, survived and testified at Colley's trial. Colley was convicted of murder and hanged in chains at Gooblecott Cross. And the next page, we're skipping ahead. Okay. Yeah, Devil's Pepper. The thing before Duvenier, Prudence Duvenier, that is a name from a play from the 1800s. Camille.
They're all references to actual real events,
right?
Even though the book is fake.
The Camille Yeah, so Prudence Duvernoy was the dressmaker for Marguerite from a play La Dame aux Camélias. I guess it's a book, The Lady of the Camellias, and it was a movie in the 50s with Greta Garbo or something. I don't know, maybe earlier in the 50s, I forget. But it was played by Majeska, who was the main
So that
character.
was mentioned,
Marguerite
right?
is like Majeska was part of the earlier in the film. Prudence Duvernoy was her dressmaker or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it has more significance, but we're moving along. We're kind of cranking.
Well, we got about a half an hour, so we gotta
Okay.
let's try
We'll
to get through
more.
some stuff. This is the one about Adrian Mercado, so this is very important.
Yes. Adrian Mercado is, that is the father of Stephen Mercado, and we're learning this here. Stephen Mercado is an anagram for Roman Castevet.
Right, so she finds that out.
She understands the child in this picture is Roman Castevet as a boy.
1899, right?
Yes.
Whose dad is into black magic.
His dad was the one who was attacked in the lobby of the Dakota, or it's called the Bramford in this. But he was the one who was said to have conjured the living devil. Hutch told us about that earlier.
So he was the one. So yeah. So
he's the one.
He just had the rumor, but he was the one. Yeah,
right. And yeah, we see Stephen Mercado, and then she mixes up the letters and finds Roman Castevet.
That's Roman Castevet. Right.
Where are we at? 1:30.
So she's unraveling it all. Yeah. So she's at 1:30. Then she shows Guy, and then Guy gaslights her again, right?
Yeah.
No,
Guy is like, he just won't listen to her.
honey, you're just full blown.
She's showing him reference. This is look at what the truth is. Look at her face. She is determined, and he's like, whatever. This is hogwash. This is mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, and she's learning about it, so she's got all the terms down. The SBAT isn't a correct term for some of these things, like that's real.
Yes, yep. And she's explaining to him, and she's like, read what they do. They use blood in the rituals. She says, baby's blood is the most important blood they use. These are true things that we're learning from watching this movie if we've never heard of magic before. These are real.
That's what the real ones who do
real witches do that. Yes. And he's like, give me that book. And he takes it out of her hand. And
then he puts it on the shelf. This is like an incredible moment. I noticed this. This is one of the things I noticed in my first read through. But
I'm glad you did. It's really this is important to look at the books. So if you see the first one, if you see Yes I Can, the story of Sammy Davis Jr. Okay, so he's hiding the book directly on top of Sexual Behavior in the Human Male and the Human Female by Kinsey, which was, we talked about it in the last show, disgusting person who had disgusting habits, and he worked for Rockefeller to push a ultimately satanic ideal.
Ultimately.
Yeah.
Through fake science, yeah.
Yes.
His conclusions were basically with the satanic idea.
Yes. And, that's what led to the 60s free love and, that whole thing that they were living through at that moment in 67 or 68 when they were making this film. So he hides it on top of that. So
Sammy Davis Jr. So this is the other kind of, sorry, you go ahead.
Oh, you're good. You're good. So the Sammy Davis Jr. is, would you like to tell people what Sammy Davis Jr. is?
Right. He was a member of the Church of Satan. There's pictures of him with Michael Aquino. Yeah. He was in My Pet Devil. He was on some promotion of Satan.
Yeah.
Which he supposedly renounced, but he was in there with Christopher Lee, of all people.
Oh, right. Yeah. And Christopher Lee told people, don't mess around with black magic. Yeah. He told people straight up, it's not what you want to do. And there was, you know, that Seinfeld show, comedians getting coffee in cars
Yes.
or whatever.
Mhm.
He had, what's his name? The guy from Saturday Night Live, the black comedian.
Oh, I don't
He was
know. Which
famous.
one?
The one who did
Eddie Murphy?
Murphy. Right. Thank you. Eddie Murphy was there telling Jerry Seinfeld about the time that he met Sammy Davis Jr. And Sammy Davis Jr. told him, like, was very serious and said, the devil is just as powerful as God. And he was like telling Jerry, wow, that was spooky, huh? Haha. Like as they drove around, you know. So like he very much believed in the devil, and he was trying to win the others to the religion by saying it's just as powerful as the light, you know, the darkness. And so yes, and yes, I can. We know that Sammy Davis, or the Yes We Can of Obama is
Wow. You're right.
Thank You Satan in
Correct.
reverse. And if everybody wants to look that up, they can say it into their own microphone and reverse it. If you say thank you Satan, it sounds like Yes We Can in reverse. Like it's uncanny. And so he's thanking Yes I Can. He's thanking Satan for this abundant life that he's had, you know. And then
That's incredible.
next to this Satanist is Kinsey, who's also Satanist, and further
Mike
down,
Crowley was interested in Crowley's notebook, traveled to Crowley's magical whatever campus
yes.
at Abbey of Belima. I mean, his satanic, at least that's just one part. And he was friends with Kenneth Anger, who's still alive. Like, so you had Kinsey was neck deep, man. He was.
Yeah. I got to do a show about Kinsey.
Yeah,
Really
I mean, we should. I mean, because that guy's like, I mean, I got to know too much about Kinsey. But
that'd be great if maybe you could be on my show and we could talk about it.
Yeah, love to. Anytime.
That'd be awesome. So we also see Listening with the Third Ear, Theodore Reich, 1949. It's an inner experience of a psychoanalyst. He was trained by Freud, and the third ear is a skill of psychoanalysts listening consciously and unconsciously. It's like a method. Yeah. And we also have Western Intellectual Traditions. The red one, I think. It's Western Intellectual Traditions. And so there's more. I didn't. Yeah, Western Intellectual Traditions. Jay Bronkowski. That's the one. The white spine. We can't see the black.
Eastern
spine.
Approach. Eastern Approach is the red one.
Yes,
so
Eastern Approach.
East and West.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's like bringing in the opposite of the Western, the opposite of the Jesus stuff. You know, I mean, it's so anyway. So like
you can tell what he's reading, right? So he's not reading. These aren't books on Catholicism.
Well, that's what she's reading.
Christian.
She was reading Yes I Can on the couch with the Tesseract pillow. She had like a pillow with squares inside squares. And she was interrupted by Minnie, and when she was given that charm, she was reading that book. So like her mind is already infected by the satanic culture. So she's a Roman Catholic. So she's the perfect vessel for them. So they're going to Kennedy Airport, Pan Am. Pan is, you know, Pan, God Pan. And let's see.
So T Guy takes it and puts the book in the garbage, right?
Yeah.
So she's looking for it. Like, I don't know about this stuff. Yeah.
What a bastard. Yeah, he so she's looking for the book, and he threw it in the garbage, and she's holding the Kinsey ones, as he says, put it in the garbage. Put it in the garbage. It'd be great if she would put those in the garbage. Yeah. Anyway.
Interesting. I mean, it's really there. She's holding on to the Kinsey books.
Right.
Like somebody did that intentionally.
Yes. And that's like her right hand is on them. Like that's the will of the person. Like, and there's obvious like, trouble in her eyes,
right.
It's upsetting her. That book is upsetting her because she's the feminine. She is the, like we said earlier, the psyche of the people, and those books, are upsetting her, Like her face, she's touching those books. But he says, "Oh, I didn't want that other book to upset you, so I threw it away." So he's occulting information.
Right. He's occulting. Very well said. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
And she, this is a real scene. She was wearing the baby thing. Like Roman Polanski was holding a handheld camera, and he told her to walk out in traffic. And he said, "Don't worry, no one's going to hit a pregnant woman." And he filmed it himself, put her into danger. So this is like horns really honking. This is real traffic.
Wow. Amazing. So she chucks the charm away, right?
Yep, she throws away. She no longer wants to be under the control of the Cassavetes. She is changing her will to be free.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is Witchcraft by Stella Loudon. I doubt that real name really exists.
I don't think it's a real. Yeah.
That charm right there in the middle really exists because that comes from Elvis Levy.
Yes.
That's a no-no.
Right. So this book has real information, and so she goes and she's thirsting for real information. She gets her own new books about witchcraft, and she's opening these books. And at 37:18, we can see the coven has the force of the whole coven could blind, deafen, paralyze, and ultimately kill the chosen victim. The united mental force is sometimes called a coven. When they unite their mental force, it's also called a mastermind. When they work all together and they do the ritual and they all imagine the right thing in unison with each other, and it it converges the will of everybody together to be more powerful. So it also says that if they obtain a personal possession of the victim is sometimes necessary to do these type of rituals. And she's like, huh? Because she remembers that one of the gloves was stolen from Hutch. So she's piecing this together in her mind. And she's calling to ask if the guy's tie was stolen, the gentleman who was blinded. And she learns that Donald Bumgard they traded ties. So she's like, oh. So she is confirming that guy is working with them. So she's out of there. She's like, packed her bag. Oh, good for her. So she's going.
Takes the elevator, right?
She takes the elevator, which is, like we said, a satanic symbol. And the red light turns on above her. And we can skip past all that. And then, so she, oh yeah, there's the red light. And
but this is important, though. She gets to Saperstein's office, and then you have another very potent, phrase or statement. Not yes, I can, but is God dead?
Yes, is God dead? So this is a real magazine, Time Magazine, April 8th, 1966. Is God dead? It's the first time the magazine had ever used just type on its cover without an associated photograph. The story contained within, which concluded that religion was dead, included the opinions of Christian theologians, including Gabriel Vahanian, whose book, The Death of God, helped spark the radical movement. So there was a movement. Death of God theology refers to a range of ideas by various theologians and philosophers that try to account for the rise of secularity and abandonment of traditional beliefs in God. They posit that God has ceased to exist. Friedrich Nietzsche used the phrase "God is dead" to reflect increasing unbelief in God. The concept rose to prominence in the late 1950s and 60s before waning again. So that's right at the time that this film was being created. The Death of God movement is sometimes technically referred to as theothanatology, derived from the Greek theos, God, and thanatos, death. And the book was The Death of God, 1961, by Gabriel Vahanian, Vahanian, Um, a part of the discussion of the death of God theology during the period. The book describes that many people in this era, the new aeon,
Right.
regarded the Christian God to be irrelevant to their situation. He describes that Christianity and particularly theism was not resonating with people. The book describes the process of secularization, namely how society has steadily removed God from its institutions. Vahanian contends that the apparent religiosity of the 1950s obscures many from recognizing this process. But the 60s and the satanic zeitgeist was trying to tear away the veil of the 1950s religiosity so that people could start to see that we have become less focused on God in our institutions of culture. And this is a famous issue, and it was it was on the shelf during the time that this movie was in the theaters. So it's all
just
part of the
integrated
zeitgeist. Yes.
Yeah. So then she goes to Hill, right? So she's gearing up to go to another doctor, like her friends told her, right?
Yeah, she learns that Saperstein smells of tannis root by the lady at the desk. And she's like, what? So she thinks, oh no, Saperstein's one of them. So she takes off and she tries to go and call Dr. Hill. And she's calling frantically from phone booth. And she says that all of them are witches. Yeah, so she's telling Dr. Hill right now that everything. You could hear them singing, they want my baby,
Right.
Please help me. And he's like, oh, okay. And he's listening. And he takes the books, And then she says Dr. Saperstein's name. And he says, Abe Saperstein? And then he says, wait here. And then he calls Abe Saperstein to come get her.
And the husband, right? So guy
and the
shows up
husband
too.
there. Yep. And you see that Abe is the leader. Husband's just following behind, like, totally not in control.
Yeah. And we're going to tell you, send you into a mental institution.
Yeah, they threaten that, which is very scary for women. And I mean, they would scoop out like hysterectomy because they thought that it made women hysteric. Like, take out all their reproductive organs. Like, they would, if you don't consent, then they would tie you down. Mental hospital is the worst nightmare of anybody. Like, nobody believes you, and they're going to tie you down and torture you if you don't shut up and be, So anyway, they have snuck in her apartment. She's trying to, I forget who she's calling, but anyway, she locked out them. She got away from Saperstein. She ran up into her apartment, and now they're in her apartment, sneaking behind her. So she's totally under their control, no matter what she does. Now they have a needle at 1 hour 57 minutes exactly. We're your friends, Rosemary, as they bring a needle.
Right.
And people can imagine, what I was trying to get at by taking that photo screenshot
then
right there.
Then it's like, we are in labor.
Yep. All of her stress.
You. We are.
Yep. We, exactly. And he grabs that, like the bump of her belly, and like he owns that thing, taking control. And she cries and she says, forgive me, little Bobby or Jenny or whatever. And her face is in darkness as they take her, And then he says to her, after she did hear, she woke up and then went back to sleep. But the first time she woke up, a guy told her, it's a boy. And she's like, oh, great. And she went back to sleep. And now Saperstein's telling her there were complications. The baby's dead. And she's like, oh. But the cult basically stole the baby. And it goes along with what she already thought. They wanted the baby for the blood, She still doesn't recognize.
She thinks that they're going to sacrifice her and put a child.
Yes. Yes, because they're an evil witch coven, and that's all that she can imagine, really, because she isn't piecing together that that thing that raped her wasn't Guy. She still thinks it's Guy's baby. So anyway, she's angry about it, and then
Just tons of drugs. So like
another needle
you got the
appears.
drug themes in this. Like, well,
Right, she's not
sedate
taking her
you.
meds.
And
Yeah,
then
and they give her another injection.
more Guy gaslighting and lying to her.
Yeah, he tells her she's crazy. Yeah, and so let's see. Yeah, so prepartum crazies, he says. So don't worry, you were just crazy. We'll be fine. And then he talks about how his career is going to be great. You know, we'll have a big pool and all this bullshit.
Right? He's telling her about the future now. We're going to come back from this.
Yeah.
And then she hears baby crying, right? And
Yeah.
they're getting her breast milk.
Yeah, they're taking her breast milk, and she puts the spoon in the milk, and she's like, you know, the woman's like, oh no, don't do that. She's like, you know, wondering why they want to keep that. What are you doing with the breast milk? Oh, we just throw it away.
Right.
And
so it's
now
the closet. That's how they're getting in too, is through the closet, right?
Right. That's why it was blocked up by the old lady before. And so she's peeking through, and she's seeing this coven.
Right. So
And
she's in. She gets in, and then there's the burning cathedral. Like they love the church burning down.
Yes, burning cathedral painting, and I think it might be in 1666. There was a big cathedral in London which
Yeah, that
burned.
was the
St.
famous
Paul.
London fire. Yeah.
St. Paul. Yeah, and and the next one is called The Spell by Francisco Goya. It was painted in 1797 to 98. Right there, that's The Spell. And if you can see, it's a gaggle of witches that are trying to grab a virginal boy or young man in a white frock, and they've got a basket full of babies. On the head of the witch with the babies is an owl, like with wings extended. If you show the photograph, I sent you a PDF of this so that we can get a full view of this painting. It's a witch's coven that is stealing babies, and they're consorting with demons. You see above the head is a demon pointing with a bone at her book that she's singing a hymn from, and she's got a candle lit. And then the next witch over has like 2 points on her hat, and she's got like bats or something holding up the 2 points, and she's got like what looks to be like a small cat or something that has no fur, like they're gonna sacrifice this animal too. And they're reaching out to grab this young boy who's like praying that they don't hurt him, you know. And there's like bats and owls, and it's night. It's very
dark
ominous.
Moon, right? There's a half moon or whatever.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So it really adds to this. When she said earlier, oh, they took their paintings down off the walls. These are the paintings that they took down. This one and the Burning Cathedral, and also Adrian Marcado was.
Oh, so they took they took them down for the party, right?
Yes. When they invited them over to talk to them for the first night, when they had them, they were talking about, oh, the Pope's not so holy, blah blah blah. Okay, so she enters the room, knife drawn. They're all having this party, and they're normal-looking people. They're normal, middle-aged to older people that are just having a fancy little party. And there's a black cloaked crib with an upside-down cross over by the window at the far end of the room. And we see Guy is there to the right, and he's chatting it up with Minnie or somebody. And
the guy on the far right is the guy who made the Silent Silence on the New Year's Eve party. So
right.
He's back.
Yep. So it's all the same people as the New Year's Eve party. And she goes further into the room.
Let's do this.
So yeah, they had a. So behind them is Adrian Marcato painting. We see Guy's face. He's like, ugh, okay, I gotta go take care of this. Like she's got a knife. Like I gotta control her, right? And let's see.
There's gifts and presents, so there's a celebratory thing going on.
Right, it's like a shower, like for the baby. And so, we see Adrian Marcato painting above the fireplace, and then she's reaching into the crib. She wants to see. Yep, and then beneath they have the clawfoot winged feminine character that looks like Lilith on the corners of the mantelpiece. If you see mantelpiece below the mantle. And above is Adrian Marcato, a portrait of the guy. And at the ritual, there was Adrian, in her dream, Adrian Marcato was there too. We'll recognize him from the painting. But we don't need to go back to that. Whatever. So she's reaching in the crib, and then she sees it. I don't know if you want to show those ones. It doesn't care about them anymore, and she's drawn to that baby. She wants to see that's her baby, overcome with the motherly instinct. She sees what it is, and she is afraid, and she asks, what have you done to it? Its eyes. And then Stephen Marcato, Roman Casavet, replies to her, and he says he has his father's eyes. And she is protesting, and she says, Guy's eyes aren't like that. And Guy is over in the corner covering up his eyes, ashamed at what he's done to her. Yeah, there's Roman and Minnie. Minnie looks at her like, here's the truth, There's the Asian behind them who's going to take pictures like a tourist, And there's Guy hiding his eyes, It wasn't him who impregnated her. She's learning that now. And these people are very normal-looking people. And that's what they want to show you, that satanic covens are normal people. They are, they are in your society. And this is, Roman is explaining to her, he came up from hell and begat a son of a mortal woman. Satan is his father, not Guy. And Minnie is trying to console her. He chose you out of all the women in the world. He chose you to be the mother of his son, like it's an honor. And then everybody says, "Hail Satan!" It's just like a nightmare. She's like,
"Did you get the feeling that this group?" Sorry, I was on mute.
No,
do you get the feeling that this group has kind of a diverse element? Because you have one kind of, because like an Asian guy, an Aryan-looking guy,
and she said,
almost like a global element to it.
Exactly. And she said they have the covens in Australia, in Europe, and here, And of course, New York would be the place, It's a worldly city. And
that's it. It can't be, she says. God is dead. So you're going back to, is God dead, right? So you have him maintaining that theme from the Time magazine article to this statement at the end.
Right. Which is the zeitgeist that happened to clear away the 50s and to cut away the old era. The new aeon of the satanic is year 1, 1966.
Right, the year is one.
And he's like exclaiming, the year is one. And that's like their new calendar is not built on Jesus. New calendar is built on the mortal son of Satan. Not the mortal, but the incarnated human son of Satan. The opposite of Jesus.
So it's the opposite, the Antichrist, right? So it's the opposite of Christ. It's not our time based upon Jesus. It's something else.
Right. And the Satanic Church they set their year one at 1966 also.
Right.
So when they date their stuff, it's like they call it the year of the light or something. I forget. But anyway, 1966 is when the official Church of Satan sets their calendar at, and he's wooing her to be the mother of her baby, to use her natural maternal instincts against her, to enslave her, and that is what the victims of SRA are held captive in the cult for longer if they're impregnated, and because then they want to stay alive to save their kid instead of just killing themselves and just being free. They stay to save the kid, and then they follow orders to keep the kid safe. She spits in his face, rightly. That's because the truth is revealed, and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna be fine. We'll have plenty of other kids. You weren't
Right,
hurt.
so-
They said they weren't gonna hurt you, so don't be mad."
We get so much in return. I think is the other one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're gonna have a pool in Hollywood. Yeah, and so they're trying to, the older woman is mad that she is taking over the motherly role. She's like, "Get out of here," And then she says, "You're trying to get me to be his mother," and he's like, "Aren't you his mother?" And she goes, and she continues to rock him. She rocks him properly, and the baby stops crying. And the motherly instinct overcomes the horror of the evil, and they all watch happily as the mother of Satan chooses willingly to raise that baby. So they finally get her will aligned with theirs, and now she is willing to be the mother of Satan. Yeah. And that's like
Mother of the child of Satan, right now.
right. And that's kind of like, every mother will love their baby, even if they want to abort the baby, they're still going to love it, even if it's like, deformed or whatever. There's a maternal instinct, and they're using it against her. And that's what they do. That's how they work their magic, And so
Because she wouldn't want to have done it before, but then once the baby's born, it's like, well, that's my baby.
Exactly. Right. She was trying to save her baby and keep it herself, but she lost it. She did not have the strength to defeat them.
Yeah, it's excellent work. There's amazing stuff in that movie. There's no question about it. No question at all. We are at the 2-hour mark. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing this movie and all that stuff. Where can people listen to your show? It's Wake the Dead, right?
Yes, Wake the Dead. You can find me at all the podcasting places, Spotify, Google, Apple, under Wake the Dead. And I'm on Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble. And you can find me at onegreatworknetwork.com. And I'm under the creator section. And there I post all of my stuff that have recently posted, all the videos and audio. You can find it all there.
So
thank you for having me.
Yeah,
onegreatworknetwork.com.
One Great Work. Wake the Dead podcast. So I'll put those links in the show notes. So we made it through this whole thing. Ira Levin was very smart. I have to read the book now because I want to see how true to the book. Because I've read.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say I've read some other books. Like I know Fight Club, they veered off. Mm-hmm. Clockwork Orange, the endings were different.
I've heard interview with Ira Levin saying that they stuck to the book. Wow. Even the colors that he described in the book, they put on the film. Wow. So there were only a couple things that were different, but he was very pleased with how true to the book that it was.
And that's not always the same. A lot of these authors, sometimes they just feel like people were really dishonest to them, or they changed things. And I know
Yeah.
Kubrick changed all the film, all
Right.
the books that he had based on film, The Shining and things like that. To totally,
He had a contempt for narrative, as you know, he didn't. He was making a visual thing. You know, Kubrick was great, but the I'm glad that we got to speak about that, and this has been very fun for me.
very
And
cool. Me too.
the more I look at it, the more I learn. You know, and this is great.
You learn, but I think that the subtext is that they're not just giving that's the whole subtext of the whole thing. Guy's in on it from the beginning, in my opinion.
Yes,
But that it's not just the birth of the Antichrist or the child. That's why you almost don't even ever see the child.
right.
Just,
Well,
it's kind of like the Jaws approach, where it's even in your own mind, it's worse than actually seeing something.
Exactly.
But it's also allows you to kind of possibly see it at a different level, which is the birth of Year Zero, birth of the satanic, God is dead worldview.
Yes,
And
exactly
that's
that.
what's in there, yeah.
The new aeon of Satanism.
Yeah. And that's what Crowley said. Like, I think when Crowley said, when is your birth of the child going to take place? 1960s. Leary said basically the same thing.
Right.
I wish Crowley could be here to see the glories he created.
I feel like Leary said he was continuing the work of Crowley. Yeah. And, Crowley he ran a ragtime band, he would have musical shows and stuff and his whole idea.
Yeah, the Rites of Eleusis. He did the ragtime band that went to Russia.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Cultural creation, very much.
Musical performance was part of it, and it was an extension of that, like you said, and Crowley was Luciferian. He, in the common parlance of the term Luciferian, like a satanic type Luciferian, and he's opposing the Christian ideals. Like, what he was pushing was fighting, like he wrote in the Book of the Law, that Horus was going to peck out the eyes of Jesus. To fight the current Christian zeitgeist or whatever. And that's really what the 60s did, is it washed all that away. And then with their their hallucinogens, it wiped their minds clean with the psychic driving, and you know what I mean. It's like you and Cameron en masse to everybody.
Throw in some Kinsey, where just everything's permitted, nothing is true.
Yeah,
everybody's gay. That's basically what Kinsey said. Like, everybody's gay. Real statistics are very small amounts of people are actually.
If you look at SRA victims, they talk about how when they're in the cult, they're made to dress and act as the opposite sex. Like, if you read Kurt Barker in his book, Blood Drinking, Cannibalism, and High Occult Satanism, he describes how when he was a child, he was made to dress up like a girl. He had a girl's name. In the pornography, he would have to be dressed like a girl. And then in regular life, he was a boy again. It was like Kathy and Kurth. That's what they do to the kids to mess with their heads. So this whole transgenderism thing,
it's Satanism.
It's part
Luciferian.
of it. Yes, and it's made to break down our selfness, so that we're part of the collective, and then we give up our humanity. Yeah,
it's totally evil.
Yes,
totally evil. Just to talk what gender you are, or where are you on some scales.
And people like the president are complaining that, if you get rid of Roe versus Wade, then the transgender kids might be kicked out of public school. I'm like, there is no transgender kids, but that's the language they use. There's little boys and little girls, and and there's child abuse, right? And it's great that
they used to arrest people who talked to kids about sex. They should be arrested.
Yeah,
they should be immediately arrested and charged.
Yeah, at least people should keep their kids away from it. Teach their kids stranger danger. That whole thing. It really is important. And for people,
stuff in this country that I never thought I'd ever see. in my life. Like, this is astonishing. Just
Yeah,
brutal
it's
propaganda, transgenderism. Do you know, I did a show with Roberta Glass, and she said that all those dudes who say they're transgender, 90% of them have not undergone surgery.
Yeah.
So there really aren't, they're
Mm.
not actually haven't changed their gender. They're just wearing a dress and lipstick, and they're saying, I'm a woman. You're not a woman.
Yeah. But it's
You're
like,
I want
it's
proof.
like, it's
Yeah,
like
no way,
Baphomet, though. You know, like it's got boobs, but it's still got the phallus.
Right.
You know, I think because the phallus is a powerful symbol for them, some of them chop it off. Like,
yeah, some do. I mean, I think all of that stuff
yeah.
is a huge. It's they've gotten into people's minds that this is kind of a way to happiness, and it's a virus. It's worse than AIDS.
Very
Like those
much.
people, women who like that, you're questioning itself is very Luciferian. That you can change as Luciferian. It's against God's plan.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Done.
like we're
There's
given
no more
this
talking
flesh
about
as
it,
a
yeah.
gift, you know.
Yeah.
Why chop it up? You know, it's like, and then if you look at the ancient occult, like the Inanna and Ishtar, their high priests, the male priests, would cut it off, everything, like the whole package, and then would dress up as women and dance. They were called Gali, and like Jesus was from Galilee, like it, you know, and he wore long hair like them, or like the common idea of what he was. But I guess he didn't actually have long hair. But anyway, it's very convoluted.
Well, yeah,
but I don't
we
want
can get into that. Let's do a show on Kinsey. Have me on. I'll talk to you.
Yeah, that'll be
pretty graphic.
Right,
That's
we'll
a rough
schedule
show.
that'll be wonderful.
But
Thank you.
there's a lot more research there. As Judith Reisman, I think, wrote a book about him and how he actually died. Like people, he would delegitimize anything he wrote outside of.
Do you want to tell the listeners how he died? This is funny.
You can read in my book.
What's it, Reisman? How do you spell it again?
Judith Reisman. It's Reisman.
Okay.
Judith Reisman.
Judith. Thank you.
It's pretty graphic how he went out. I think it was actually altogether fitting and proper way for him to go.
Yeah, he was thick, and he was trying to use science to explain away his own sickness, and then he would, put that his own crazy onto others and be like, when was the first time you had relations with a goat? Not like, do you ever? Right. It's assuming they do, and that kind of questioning like helps to the evil stuff spill out.
And they say that his pool of people that he talked to was skewed. It wasn't just
criminals and the insane. Yeah. And then he said that was the normal human male. That was the psyche of the human mind. Right. No.
Oh no, there's all kinds of problems. Like if you do scientific research and scientific process, and you can apply this to vaccines as well, is let everybody look at your research, and you have to have a third-party review. And he never allowed that. So that can tell you a lot about what he was up to.
Yeah, and the Kinsey people are still not releasing the notes of like who gave him all those pedophile notes and the rapist. Because they were protecting him from arrest. Still to this day.
It should have been arrest. Yeah, they did experiments on infants. Like they were sick. Sick.
They would go on like 12 months old. They would abuse the child for 24 hours straight. I mean, and then they would say that the screaming sound means the kid likes it. It's so sick.
Yeah, that
that would be a very sick episode.
There's a lot of material there on Kinsey. I got tons of pictures too.
That's
like
great.
Him at the Abbey of Thelema, Crowley. There's a lot of stuff. I think the other documentary was by Chris Pinto. I can't remember the name of it, but it has the video that Kinsey or somebody at the Institute took of Kenneth Anger doing the experiments. Kenneth Anger's story is really crazy, man. That's another one.
Yeah,
that's all. We could do a show on him too. Yeah, he was everywhere, man. He was Crowley.
Yeah, and he wrote the Hollywood Babylon books.
Hollywood Babylon.
Hi. Sorry, that's my son.
all the way up to like, oh god, what is it? James Franco. So all the way up. So they did a show called
that dude is
Old Days. Yeah, Love in the Old Days. Go check out Love in the Old Days. It's totally cool. I'll let you go. Sean,
no, that's fine.
so much for your time.
I love you. Thank you so much
All right,
for
God
having
bless.
me, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you
Yeah,
again.
let's do it again soon. Take
Awesome.
care. Cheers.